30th all-time preseason meeting between the Bills and the Lions. Let's get to Rob's keys to the game.
Well,
brought to you by Comcast, right?
Right now, next door we have Jay-Z and Eminem in concert. I couldn't tell you either one of
How come
the
you're not
song
there?
they sing. I'm an Aerosmith guy. We go back. And the keys of the game, let's look at the players. Great song, Dream On. A lot of these guys are trying to make that 53-man roster to keep that dream going. For the coaches, they want to get out here with some of those good toys like a Matthew Stafford, Calvin Johnson, and then store them until the regular season starts, put them away. And for the fans, they want to have a nice, sweet taste in their mouth when this is done because they've shown a lot of emotion about this team coming into 2010, and they're ready.
Well, let's just, walk the dog a little bit here in this game tonight and see how the Lions can finish things up. A lot of people at home right now are shaking their heads going, come on. Aaron Brown is back deep for the Lions. They won the coin flip and will return. Brown, pretty impressive last week, Rob, I think, more at the running back position than on kickoff returns. Jim Schwartz said, I'd like him to be a little bit more aggressive in the return game. Let's see if he'll do it here tonight. Ryan Lindell will kick it off for the Bills. And Brown will shift to his left and then bring it up the gut. And he's dragged down at about the 24-yard line. Matthew Stafford most likely will play one series, depending on how that series goes. He has a 74% completion percentage in the preseason. Simply put, he's been very strong. Touchdown in each game. A couple to Calvin Johnson, and one last week to Brian Johnson. We'll set the offense here shortly. I formation behind Stafford. Kevin Smith, the starting tailback. Stafford will throw. Good pocket. And it's incomplete. Let's get to our starting lineups, brought to you by ABC Warehouse. Kevin Smith is there instead of Javid Best. And Brandon Pettigrew will start his second consecutive game after hauling in one pass last week in the win against the Browns. The offensive line is a little different. Corey Hilliard gets the look at the left tackle position. Jeff Backus sitting this one out, although he is the starter. Hasn't missed a game in his entire career. 2nd and 10 for Detroit. On the ground for Kevin Smith. Found a hole. And a good block from Burleson to get him a first down.
We're going to look at Stephen Peterman, number 66, does a nice job bouncing off the block, getting to the second level. And Kevin Smith, showing experience, just gets in the hole. It shows his patience, allows the play to develop.
Stafford stands, throws, and it is picked off, and this will be 6. Drayton Florence will walk into the end zone, and Buffalo has drawn first blood.
Well, that's just a misread by Matthew Stafford. Calvin Johnson's running a bit of a hitch route. And Drayton Florence, you can see right here at the top. Let's watch him. He squats on it. Never see him backpedal. He's just sitting on it the entire way, and as Calvin turns, he just makes the break. And he's going to get it.
It's throwing kickoff.
He's going to pick up a penalty.
Play stands. Touchdown.
On the kickoff for a little excessive celebration, but what a nice job by Drayton Florence reading the route, sitting on it. And that young man, it's every play is a learning experience for a young quarterback, and Matthew Stafford will put that one in his mind and not forget it soon.
It's his first pick, or second pick rather, of the preseason, but really that one his fault. The one against Pittsburgh was off Javid Best's hands. Ryan Lindell, no problem converting, and Buffalo takes advantage of the Lions' turnover, and they lead it 7-0. Stafford knows exactly what he did wrong. Drayton Florence, the 8th-year pro out of Tuskegee, knows exactly what he did right. Chan Gailey, the head coach of the Buffalo Bills, in his first year, he's the 15th head coach in Buffalo history. He was the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys in '98 and '99, led them to back-to-back playoff seasons. Head coach at Georgia Tech for a while, and then an offensive coordinator at Kansas City. Jim Schwartz in his second season in Detroit. We've talked about it numerous times, but I think it's worth repeating. He has changed the culture in Detroit, and it needed changing. And he, general manager Martin Mayhew, are the primary reasons for it. Helps when you have a talent like Matthew Stafford, and now Aaron Brown will seek his second kickoff return of the night. Lindell forced to kick it from the 15-yard line because of the excessive celebration flag against Drayton Florence. That moves Brown up to his 10. Really short kick. Brown from the 21. Made a man miss. And out of bounds with a flag on the play at the 42-yard line. Usually that indicates holding, and it is against Detroit.
The Lions, we're going to have pretty good field position outside the 40-yard line.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 50. 10-yard penalty. Detroit keeps the ball, first down.
It's against Isaiah Ekajuba. Let's take a look at the Buffalo Bills defense. Marcus Stroud has come into the camp with the best shape of his career, 6'6", 310 pounds. The linebackers led by Paul Posluszny. 2 straight years where he's led the Bills in tackles. You already heard from Florence on the touchdown return. And Terrence McGee, 84 passes defended since 2003 at the other cornerback, 5th best in the NFL. Kevin Smith with not much of a lane there at all.
Well, Kevin's good at his opportunity. Obviously, he's heard so much about Javid Best this entire preseason. The rookies put up some good numbers and shown some flashes of brilliance at times. But Kevin Smith is a pretty determined young man, and I look for him to really try to answer the bell here. Every game, every carry, his knee's going to get a little bit stronger, and he's going to become more confident, and that's probably the most important thing.
And how much of it is mental for Kevin Smith, too? That's what we have to keep in mind when you come back from a knee injury like that, as he runs into a pile and spins around after a pickup of 2, so it'll be 3rd down and 7. How much of it is mental, do you think, coming back from injury?
I think a ton, especially for a guy that makes his living cutting off that knee. An offensive lineman, not quite as difficult because you're not running in space and cutting and trying to elude defenders. But for a running back, when you have to make those sharp cuts, you really don't know how it's going to respond until you get out there at game speed. And so far, you know, Kevin's been pretty healthy and he's feeling pretty good. I wouldn't call him 100% yet, but I think by the 2nd or 3rd game, he will be. 3rd
down and 7 for Stafford and the Lions. He'll throw for it. Good pocket underneath. A little crossing pattern to Smith for a 1st down. It's a tough matchup for any linebacker, including Paul Posluszny, who tackled him, but not before they moved the chains and pick up a 12.
We're going to watch Kevin Smith. He's going to be here. He's going to leak out of the backfield and then come flat along the line of scrimmage. It's a nice job. He's got a linebacker matched up, and that's what you want to get as an offense corner, Scott Linehan. Anytime you get that back out on a linebacker, that's a matchup you should win, and that time Kevin Smith did.
Maurice Morris has checked in at the tailback position for Detroit on a 1st down. Stafford audibling at the line of scrimmage. Has the freedom to do that more this year. Morris to the edge. Got it into Buffalo territory and dragged down at the 40-yard line.
Nice job of the tight end. This is what I made my living at. We're going to get a look right here. Brandon Pettigrew is going to come down inside, and he's going to get a cut block. Linebackers don't like it, but they don't pay your bills. You watch Pettigrew get there, and he makes the cut. It creates a seam and a nice lead block also out front by Burleson. And Kelvin Johnson doing his part. You like to see those superstars get dirty a little bit out there. So well executed by the Lions.
16-yard gain for Morris, more than he's collected in the first 3 preseason games combined. Reverse to Williams, a little end around, has a seam, flag comes flying in. Enough for another 1st down, but we'll see who the penalty is against. George Wilson with his 2nd consecutive tackle. Our referee on this Thursday night is Jerome Boger.
During the run, holding, offense, number 13. 10-yard penalty, replay, 1st down.
Okay, now watch. Derek Williams is going to come around the corner, get ready, and stop it right here. Now, if he just follows his lead blocker to the edge, he's got one here and one here. He's got manned up, but he tries to cut it back inside where the safety is sitting. Well, a little bit late. Corey Hilliard was coming off the block, so maybe he was reading ahead. We didn't quite have that view. You tell your backs, read the head of the offensive lineman, which side it's on, and obviously, go to the protected side.
Penalty on Nate Burleson pushes the ball back to midfield. Good play action. Across the seam and incomplete. Intended for the fullback, Jerome Felton, who was covered nicely by Andre Davis.
This is Scott Linehan, the offensive coordinator, along with Jim Schwartz. Want to see a little bit better execution. We had the interception, and they have the penalty, which brings back a nice running play on the reverse. And that hurts because you set those plays up. You need them to succeed, and you don't want to lose that play. Obviously, every play you run, you want to have production. But a reverse is a play you get a big play out of. They got it, and then they lose it because of the penalty.
2nd down and 20. Stafford forced to throw. Screen to Smith. Going the wrong way. He'll lose a yard there. But Buffalo had that sniffed out pretty well, didn't they? Marcus Stroud in on the tackle.
3rd down and 21.
What's impressed you most about Matthew Stafford in the preseason? I know he hasn't thrown the ball a whole lot, but
well, I've been away from the Lions for a little bit. I didn't realize that his skill set was so good, that he had such a strong, accurate arm and the quick release. He can really get rid of the ball. And that's what his offensive linemen just love. As long as you don't get beat clean, if you get a piece of your guy, he'll get the ball out. And any lineman never played for Dan Marino will vouch to that.
Very mature 22-year-old. 3rd down and a long way to go. He'll throw to Smith. A balance up. Couldn't squeeze between a pair of defenders, and he's down at the 41, forcing a Detroit punting situation. Ashton Yabodi, the 5th-year pro out of Ohio State, in on the tackle. Nick Harris now will punt it away for Jim Schwartz's ball club.
Nick Harris in the punt. And back for Buffalo, David Roosevelt.
Naaman Roosevelt with his heels on his own 10-yard line for Buffalo. Ooh, fair catch made at the 5-yard line. You don't win a job that way, that's for sure. Buffalo's offense takes the field for the first time tonight. They're up by 7. Lions in an early hole, 7-0, thanks to a return for touchdown, courtesy of Drayton Florence. Let's take a look at Detroit's defense, brought to you by ABC Warehouse. No Corey Williams in the starting right tackle position. Instead, it's the 2nd-year pro out of Stillman College, Sammy Hill. Landon Johnson will start in the middle, his first start of the preseason. The corners are Houston and Wade. The safeties are Randy Phillips and Amari Spivey. With the injuries to C.C. Brown and Louis Delmas and Coe Simpson, Spivey, according to Jim Schwartz, did very well in his first ever start at the safety position, with 6 tackles and a sack. Marshawn Lynch with his first carry of the preseason. Stumbles maybe back to the line of scrimmage, brought down by Julian Peterson. Trent Edwards is the starting quarterback for Buffalo. There's no controversy in Buffalo, at least not right now, partner, right?
And not for the 1. But there is a competition for the 2, which we'll talk about later in the game, and the backup quarterbacks make their presence felt.
Edwards, a 3rd-round pick in 2007 out of Stanford. Lynch, the lone setback. You won't see C.J. Spiller today. Edwards, pressure comes. He'll float it down the sideline. Good coverage by Wade, but a better catch on the sideline by number 83, Lee Evans. Oh, baby, was that beautiful.
And Jonathan Wade did a nice job, actually, of running with Evans, and he shows that he has ball skills to the end. He turns, he's locating the ball, he just overruns it. Evans gets a little bit of a push in the back, and just the taller receiver goes up, makes a heck of a catch, attacking the ball at its highest point. A nice job by Lee Evans. And, you know, really, you're going to break that down on Jonathan Wade, and you think, you know, pretty well defended.
Yeah, no doubt. First down for the Bills after a pickup of 50. Lynch dragged down from the side at the 40-yard line. Kyle Vandenbosch on the bottom of that pile.
4 yards on the 2nd and 6.
It will help Chan Gailey in the Buffalo offense when you have a guy like Lee Evans making a catch like that, and he's durable. 58 consecutive starts for Lee Evans. Second only to Reggie Wayne currently in the NFL. Edwards with a toss to Lynch. Pressure comes, slips away, breaks 3 tackles, still on his feet, going the wrong way, and Amari Spivey comes up and makes the tackle. Let's take a look at the Buffalo Bills starters on this Thursday night. Lynch gets the start instead of C.J. Spiller. Spiller is out. Lynch maybe have gotten his ankle fixed a little quicker because of this type of
faith healer.
preseason.
It's called a
CJ
guy
Spiller
pushing you for
said.
your job. It'll get you back out there quickly.
Andy Levitre is the first rookie offensive lineman to start all 16 games since Reuben Brown did it back in 1995 in Buffalo history. Third down and short for Trent Edwards and the Bills. Here's an end around. This is Steve Johnson. And Johnson is dragged down shy of the first down. Chris Houston, good tackle. Even better recognition, partner.
And you're right. Good job staying home on the backside. You see Randy Phillips gets sucked down inside, number 43. And I really, really think if Johnson stays with this, instead of trying to backtrack a little bit, he's going to move the chains. But Chris Houston comes up, gets the one paw on him, is able, without getting the horse collar, stop the forward momentum and just shy of a first down.
Buffalo's going to go for it. Why not? It's 4th down and 1. This will be the second time they try and convert a 4th down situation in the preseason. Edwards with the quarterback sneak, no problem. Good situations, right, for offensive coordinators and head coaches?
All these coaches in this game like that type of situation. You look at Chan Gailey, gets him to work on his 4th and short for the season. Jim Schwartz along with Gunther Cunningham. Let's see our short yardage defense. So that's what you want. You want situational football in preseason so you can touch on all areas.
Bills defense put up the first touchdown of the night on an interception return for a score. Now the offense trying to do the same. Edwards slings it out of the backfield. Just past the 30 to the 29-yard line or so. Pass complete to Corey McIntyre, the fullback.
Let's watch Ndamukong Suh right to the right of your screen, pushing on number 7. A decent push, but Eric Wood, I would say, wins the battle. Good coverage down the field, but Trent Edwards, showing his experience, just takes what's there, doesn't get greedy, just dumps it to Lynch and lets him pick up 5 yards.
Suh with 3 tackles on the preseason. A lot made of what he did to Jake Delhomme last Saturday night. Edwards going to give to Lynch. Dragged down at the line of scrimmage, might have even lost a yard. Willie Young and Landon Johnson combined on the tackle.
And Landon Johnson, 55. Let's let it run here a little bit and stop it. He comes through clean. Now this looks like an easy play, but he breaks down just enough. He breaks down just enough and makes the play. Doesn't lose his base at all. And that's what you want to see, your linebackers. We saw Zach Follett the play before come flying up and missed the tackle in the open field.
4 wide receivers set for the Bills on 3rd down and 6. Edwards across the middle. Good pitch and catch, and should be enough for a first down.
Edwards pass is complete.
The toss complete to his tight end, Dave Nelson.
Eric King on the tackle. First down Buffalo. And Detroit's 21.
Jim Schwartz admitting his club has a long way to go, but they're getting there. You talked about in our pregame about the depth this team has been able to create. But there's still plenty of jobs to be had on this ball club. 1st and 10. Lynch stops, tries to start again. Peterson was shed away. And then Kyle Vanden Bosch would have nothing to do with it.
The Lions using a run blitz on 1st down, bringing pressure, bringing corner off the backside. We're going to take a look. You're going to see Lynch. This is designed to go to the right. And you're going to see Jonathan Wade, number 24. He's a corner coming in the backside. He's not used to making a tackle in the backfield. Lynch just kind of sheds him. And then you see Amari Spivey coming in with Kyle Vanden Bosch. So good gang tackling by the Lions, leaving no avenues open for Lynch to go.
Vanden Bosch, such a beast. Look at those pipes, man. 2nd down and 14. Amazing. Edwards. Pressure comes. And down he goes. 7th sack of the preseason for Detroit. Landon Cohen, the 7th round pick out of Ohio a couple years ago, makes the tackle.
Well, they're going to run a little blitz package. They're going to bring right through here. They're going to bring pressure. And it doesn't get to him, but it forces him to step up in the pocket. That allows number 98, Landon Cohen, to make the tackle from his hiney, actually. He's lying on the ground, doesn't quit playing. So once again, Gunther Cunningham dialing up a blitz, the first time a run blitz, that time knowing they're going to throw, bring a little pressure to force Trent Edwards out of his rhythm.
3rd down and 20 now for Edwards. Obvious throwing situation. They'll screen it. Lynch fell down, and then Vanden Bosch, who never gives up. You see it every day in practice. He's always in pursuit. He was down, got back up, and chased down Lynch for a short gainer. It's a field goal situation now.
Okay, this is why this gentleman right here, Kyle Vanden Bosch, was brought to the lines. Watch his motor. He's going to chase this down. He does a little game, cross inside, gets pressure, doesn't make the play, peels back, never quits on the play. You see him do that in practice, so you know he's going to do it in a game.
He's constantly chasing running backs the length of the football field. 47-yard field goal attempt by Ryan Lindell. No problem.
And the kick is good.
He's very, very steady. Buffalo's up 10-zip. See what the Lions can do offensively when we come back to Ford Field right after this. Buffalo with a couple of scores. One a defensive touchdown, the other a 47-yard field goal from Ryan Lindell, and Buffalo leads it 10-zip with $1:43 to go in the opening quarter. Matthew Stafford's preseason is over. He finishes the night 3 for 6, 21 yards, a pick that he'd like to have back, but for the most part, pretty darn impressive in the 4 games.
Yeah, if you look at the overall work of Matthew Stafford during the preseason, a lot to be positive about for Lions fans. He's shown that he has the arm strength that they drafted. He's everything that was advertised coming out of Georgia. So I think good things are ahead for this offense led by this young man, Matthew Stafford.
See if Aaron Brown will be a teammate of his for the second straight year, trying to win a job as a kick returner and a running back. He'll take this one on the run for the 2. Good block up the middle. High steps his way to the 25 and decked there. Oh, somebody got all body helping pave the way for Aaron Brown. Sean Hill's the new signal quarter. We'll see if he can come back. Welcome back. Tonight's Player to Watch segment is brought to you by Gardner White, Hall of Famer Charlie Sanders. Who are we looking at tonight?
Well, we're looking at Jonathan Wade, and we wanted to look at him because after that first game, he broke his finger. Just want to show you how much problem one finger can be on a football field. You can't reroute the receiver, you can't make a play on the ball, and you can't lock up when tackling presents the opportunity. So these are things that you have to overcome. Now, there's a Hall of Famer that had the same problem during the course of the regular season. He told the doctor, cut it off, and the doctor did it. And that was Ronnie Lott. So I'm sure Wade is going to put it off as long as he can, but these are the problems he had to deal with that cast on his hand.
Yeah, Ronnie Lott was a special player, no doubt. Kevin Smith pushed forward, aided with a tackle from behind to a pickup of 2. Sean Hill is the new quarterback for Detroit. Hasn't thrown a touchdown pass, but he's been pretty effective when called upon at 67.5% completion percentage. Last week, 6 of 10, 52 yards. The 9th-year pro out of Maryland. He likens his situation here in Detroit like a golf game. He says basically you're measuring your play against yourself. Empty backfield for him because he knows Matthew Stafford is the starter. He'll float it out, and it's grabbed by Aaron Brown. Turned outward. Should he have turned inward to possibly get the first down there, partner, as a former tight end yourself?
Well, looking back, I would say yeah, but a lot of times they'll tell you to spin away from where the pursuit's coming. The pursuit's coming from the inside, so he spins to the outside. The corner was just overplaying a little bit to the outside, so it didn't work out that time, but I don't have a problem with that. And I like how they isolate him, get Aaron Brown in space, going empty backfield.
Maurice Morris, the tailback last time. This time it's Aaron Brown. Running hard, pick up of a couple. He was able to fight through one would-be tackler and Keith Ellison to get some positive yardage. That helps, that's for sure, but it wasn't enough for a first down. And Detroit will have to punt it away again. Naaman Roosevelt making sure he's got enough blockers in front of him, but he'll have to wait to the second quarter. The Bills score once on defense. They get a field goal from Ryan Lindell offensively, and after one, Buffalo leads it 10-0 on the road here in Detroit. You're watching Lions preseason action on the Lions Television Network. We invite you to come back after a brief timeout. Jim Schwartz watches Nick Harris deliver one. And a fair catch. No, Dante Wesley makes the tackle on Naaman Roosevelt. Maybe he should have signaled for a fair catch. Whatever the case, Buffalo's offense goes back on the attack when we come back to Downtown Detroit next. 1 quarter in the books. That means we look at the first quarter stats brought to you by Comerica Bank. Even on the first downs, Detroit has more rushing yards. Pretty close on total yards. Bottom line is Buffalo leads at 10-0.
And the one stat that's not up there is the turnover stat, and that's what made the difference.
Here's Brian Brom at the helm, and his pass is dropped by J.P. Fashi. Brom is a third-year pro out of Louisville, partner, a second-round pick of the Packers in 2008, free agent pickup, and at Louisville did a lot of good things. Big arm too, but he's fighting for the number 2 spot on this Buffalo Bills club.
Yeah, he's in a dogfight with Ryan Fitzpatrick, the Harvard grad. They like them both. They like this kid's upside a little bit better. Fitzpatrick's a proven quantity, so Brom really has something to prove.
Empty backfield for him on a 2nd and 10. Pump fakes, then throws, caught. Close to a first down. Chad Jackson hauled it in, the third-year pro out of Florida. Flag on the play, though.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 98.
That's not
15-yard penalty.
Those are the things that will drive head coaches crazy.
It is. We're going to get a look right here. We're going to run like a double slant and bring the inside to clear a little bit. He's going to come a little bit slower, and he's going to get right in his zone, and that's where they're going to get him. First guy just clears, throw to the second guy slanting and cross, and it pulls the first defender, the linebacker, out of the drops, out of the hook zone. It pulls him down when he sees the receiver cross his face and the guy behind him's open.
That penalty against Landon Cohen, who had a sack earlier in the ball game, to give to Chad Simpson, tripped up by Amari Spivey. Spivey comes up from his safety position and makes the tackle, something that they're looking for out of this kid. Maybe he doesn't have the hip swivel for a corner, but he can tackle.
He does, and he's very aggressive, coming all the way, comes flying in, breaks down. You want to put that head down a little bit too early. You got to keep your head up, let it slide to the side. You start looking at the turf, those backs in the NFL will make you look pretty bad quickly.
6 tackles and a sack, one of just 2 players in the NFL so far in the preseason who has a sack from either the cornerback or safety position. Brom will throw across the middle, caught for a first down inside the 35. Second pass hauled in by Chad Jackson on this series, and Brom has displayed a very strong but more importantly accurate arm.
Well, we're going to look at Brom right here. Too much time. He's able to step in the pocket. Jackson runs a skinny post. He gets in front of Jonathan Wade, and look at the time he's going to have. This is our first look at Lawrence Jackson, number 94, rushing from the left defensive end position. He's acquired in a trade with Seattle.
First down and 10 for Brian Brom. Blitz comes. Eric King's in his face, and he throws an incomplete pass.
You see pressure get into Brom's face quickly here, and he's going to look for the receiver to break it off. But there's no hot receiver. Eric King's going to learn also, number 29 of the lines. Don't leave your feet. Get your hands up. Don't leave your feet. Quarterbacks will pump. They'll get underneath you, and they'll find a passing lane.
Second down and 10 now for Brom and the Bills. Pressure from the edge. He throws across the middle behind his intended receiver. 2 flags on the play.
Well, Lawrence Jackson is going to get just about tackled by number 73, Kirk Chambers, coming off the right edge. Look right on the bottom here. He's going to come.
Holding.
Actually, we got double. You know what it is? Chambers. That's not a bad play. I'm telling you.
Replay.
He's blocking on Jackson, and it's really young. They got 2 rushing on 1, and Chambers didn't have the guard slide out with him because he's going to have to pass the inside guy. He has to take the outside. That's what you get, a few backup offensive linemen. The communication's not there, and the Lions benefit from it, as he did the nice takedown on really young.
Chambers actually played with Trent Edwards, the starting quarterback in college. Both Stanford grads. Chambers, a couple years older. forces a 2nd down and 20 for Brown. Steps up into the pocket, tosses one outside, and it's complete to Donald Jones, rookie out of Youngstown State, trying to move up the depth chart.
And this is the first opportunity the Lions fans have had to watch number 94, Lawrence Jackson, coming in from the left defensive end position. When they got him from Seattle, he hasn't been healthy enough to play, and they let him heal up. And there's a look at Lawrence. But doing a nice job, really did a good job beating Chambers again around the edge on that last one, applying pressure.
Jackson said it really helped to have guys like Rob Sims, Will Heller, Julian Peterson, all guys who were in Seattle while Jackson was there, to help him feel a little bit more comfortable coming here. Corner blitz from King. Braun slithers to the outside, throws on the run, and it's incomplete. Jonathan Wade with good coverage downfield against Donald Jones.
Well, Gunther Cunningham dialing up a bunch of different blitzes here for a 3rd preseason game, Matt. But Jonathan Wade did a nice job of competing for the ball. And Brown, to his credit, not known as a real mobile quarterback, but he felt the pressure. He got outside the pocket, bought himself some time, and had an opportunity to make a play. But because Jonathan Wade covered pretty well, incomplete.
So Lindell will attempt a 50-yard field goal. He is the team record holder in career field goal percentage. Already has one from 47. And this one, no problem either. Right into the netting. And Ryan Lindell pads Chad Gailey and the Bills lead to 13 with 12:18 to go in the opening half. Bills pitching an early shutout here at Ford Field in the 4th preseason game of the year, getting in the roar zone for the Lions home opener on September 19th versus the Eagles. Tickets start at $42. Call 1-800-745-3000 or visit DetroitLions.com. Get Lions ready. There is a different sense, wouldn't you agree, about this club? I think people are recognizing the building blocks that Detroit has right now with Stafford and Johnson and Best and some of the other guys that Martin Mayhew has added.
I was going to say, Martin Mayhew has
team.
to be given the credit. He's the one that had a plan coming in here. It's so nice to see a president with a plan as far as football operations. He knew he wanted to fortify this defensive line. He knew he had to get some talent on the offensive side of the football, and he stuck to his guns.
His plan matched Jim Schwartz's plan. He said it's the first time in 10 years that the head coach and the general manager have been on the same page. Aaron Brown with a good return, close to the 30. That's where Detroit's offense sets up shop when we return.
Welcome back into Ford Field, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, the Lions looking at a 13-0 deficit. A lot of time left in the 2nd quarter, though. Big cut coming up Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock. The Lions, all other NFL teams, have to be down to 53. In our meeting with head coach Jim Schwartz yesterday, he said it is more than just a business. They do get emotional. He and the coaching staff, they root for guys to make this football club. But we know sometimes it just doesn't happen that way. Back upstairs to Matt and Ron.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. It's important that Jim Schwartz also mentions that at least these cuts are becoming more difficult. Nice pitch and catch from Hill to Scheffler for a 1st down, and that means there's more depth. Tony Scheffler is a perfect example of that. Brought over in a trade from Denver, and he's been solid as usual.
Well, it really strengthened a position that was already pretty strong with Will Heller and Brandon Pettigrew. Now you bring in Tony Scheffler, a little bit more of the receiving tight end. Will Heller takes a lot of the blocking duties. And then you have a guy like Dan Gronkowski, who's really outside looking in, but he will play in this league somewhere, I believe.
This is Maurice Morris. Wrestled down at about the line of scrimmage. Here's the depth that we were talking about at that wide receiver skill position. And tight end, quite honestly. Calvin Johnson with a couple of touchdowns this year. Nate Burleson says, I don't mind playing Robin to anybody's Batman, especially when it's Calvin Johnson. And the 2 tight ends can block and flex. Speaking of flex, Detroit trying to flex their muscle here offensively with an empty backfield on a 2nd down and long. Hill throws underneath and short-armed it, intended for Scheffler.
Well, the Lions,
Chris Ellis.
Sorry, partner, but the Lions run a lot of empty sets, motion out of the backfield. That time they had Maurice Morris matched up outside. Sean Hill decided not to go there. He was looking for Tony Scheffler, the tight end line to the right. Just run a little bit of a drag route, but the pressure, it's all about not just pressure, but when you get the pressure. The pressure came right when Sean Hill was trying to look where Scheffler is breaking open. He loses that vision. He has to go outside, then he makes an errant pass because of it.
This one knocked down at the line of scrimmage by Spencer Johnson.
Knocked down at the line of scrimmage.
Well, you know, Jim Schwartz is not going to be pleased with what he's watched from his one offense or his second offense here so far this evening. They're looking for, you know, it's not the third game, quote, dress rehearsal type, but he wants to be sharp. The regular season starts next week. He wants this offense clicking on all cylinders, and he doesn't care if you're a 1, a 2, or a 3 in there. He expects you to perform. Right now, this offense is 2 offense did not perform very well. The defense has given up a couple drives for field goals, so it's going to be, I think it's going to be a little eye-opening halftime for some of the Lions.
But Rubes, you mentioned it too. You said, hey, listen, he wants guys to win these jobs.
Yeah, don't get them by default. Go out there and win the job. Make us keep you because of your performance.
Roosevelt again deep. This time over his head. He'll let it go into the end zone. And it'll be a touchback. So Buffalo will take over 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. They have spoiled this home game for Jim Schwartz so far, up 13. Alongside Rob Rubick, my name is Matt Shepard, Hall of Famer Charlie Sanders, and Steve Courtney on the sidelines. Glad you're with us on this Thursday night. Detroit down 13-zip. A couple of field goals by Ryan Lindell for Buffalo. And a interception return by Drayton Florence to give Buffalo that 13-0 lead. Andre Anderson, the running back for Buffalo.
Andre Anderson has shown a lot this camp, along with Joique Bell, the rookie from Wayne State, right here in Detroit, Division II school. It was the Harlan Hill winner last year. So Anderson's really in a battle with him right now, and he's getting his opportunity to play. And Joique will get his chance a little bit later on.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are looking forward to that. That's for sure, partner. 10-10 left to go. Braum with a good play action. Steps up into the pocket. He'll throw. Completed. That'll be a 1st down. And bulldozing his way for more yardage is Rodney Ferguson. First-year pro out of New Mexico.
Well, you know, Amari Spivey is a corner who was moved into safety. That time he looked like a corner trying to make the play. He's going to, right here on the bottom right of the screen, he's going to come up as the ball is delivered out in the flat. These fullbacks, they don't like to go down too easy. And you're going to see Rodney deliver the blow and just kind of shed him.
That's tackling too high, isn't it?
It is, and you've got to take the pins out when you got a 230, 240-pound back coming at you.
That time, Anderson with nowhere to go because Landon Cohen again at the bottom of that tackle.
Zach Follett, number 49, giving some support from the linebacker position. So after a play where your safety becomes roadkill a little bit, you get your backers to come up and help a little bit.
9th consecutive year that Buffalo and Detroit close out the preseason. Buffalo's played Detroit more often in the exhibition season than any other team, just like Cleveland had played Detroit more than anybody else last week. Braum floats it down the sideline and over the head. Dre Bly on the coverage there.
You see the veteran move by Dre Bly. He does a nice job of using the sideline as a teammate, and that's what you want your corners. We're going to look right here in the bottom. Let's watch Dre. He's going to force the receiver outside this time. Has eye contact, locates the ball, and he has a great knack of leaning into the receiver, forcing the receiver out of bounds, and that's just experience. When your legs don't work quite the same as you get a little bit long in the tooth in this league, your brain needs to be a little bit stronger.
3rd down and 13. Anderson to the 40-yard line, drilled there well shy of the 1st down. A punting situation for Buffalo. First time we see Brian Mormon for Chan Gailey's Bills. Mormon last year set the club record, 46 yards per punt, partner. And in net yardage, 40 yards per punt on the net. There's Derek Williams. Derek Williams has had a pretty good preseason. He's had one bad play that a lot of people are focused on. This one shanked. Williams yells poison. And it will get a Buffalo roll to the 11-yard line. Long field for the Lions. They trail 13-zip, looking for their first points when we return. Ford Field right after this. Lions still in search of their first points. Hopefully they'll have them before they start some of these key home games that starts on September 19th against the Philadelphia Eagles. That's the home opener. They open on the road at Chicago on the 12th, and then the 19th it's against the Eagles. Stafford against Sanchez. Mark Sanchez has not had a good preseason in New York.
No, and I'm looking at Brett Favre's finale on the end there. That's like Groundhog's Day.
For how many years?
Right.
Year after year after year. Shaun Hill to Maurice Morris, lowered the shoulders, picked up one, maybe two.
Maurice Morris getting an opportunity. We saw Aaron Brown get some reps, and I wonder if we're going to see any D.D. Dorsey. D.D. Dorsey had a really nice game out in Denver.
Yeah, he sure did. Especially
Especially receiving out of the backfield. Maybe they're comfortable with what he can do, and you're trying to see who's going to partner up with him.
2nd and 8 for Shaun Hill in relief of Matthew Stafford. He'll throw. Pressure comes. Sidesteps it. Throws. Caught by Derek Williams dropped it. He was wide open at the 34-yard line and let it come into his pads and dropped it.
And Shaun Hill is going to deliver this ball. Williams is going to come in motion. He's going to come all the way across the field. And this is a well-thrown ball. It's a little bit of a half boot and a nice job in the backfield. We'll get a closer look in a second, but he drops this in right over the chasing linebacker. You got to make that play. Actually, it was Brian Scott, the strong safety, who was in pursuit. You got to come up with that catch when you're trying to make a club.
And to compound the issue, a false start on Corey Hilliard.
Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Now we talk about the bad part. Now let's watch the good part of this last play, the incomplete pass. Derek Williams get the drop. Watch Maurice Morris. He sees it. He gets out. He's able to get a piece of Arthur Moats, which gives Shaun Hill time to get the ball down the field. Derek Williams just did not do his part of the play.
Morris always been a very good blocking back. Hill from his goal line. And incomplete. Intended for Brian Johnson. Lions had the first down, but then the drop, then the penalty, and now a punt.
And that's one of those series when the coaches start watching the game film tomorrow. They'll get to this series and they'll just, let's throw that out. That's one they want to forget. And Derek Williams would hope they would do that because he's part of the culprit on that last series. Just poor execution. You got to make catches when they present themselves, and he wasn't able to. They got pressure the last time, so Lions punting once again.
Nick Harris, the Lions all-time leader in punts, punting yards, 3rd in gross punting yards. Roosevelt waves everybody away. And it'll be deadened at the 42-yard line. Short field for the Bills, already up 13. I can honestly say I have never, ever seen that at any concession stand where you could buy it.
But I know you probably thought that's what I wore when I played. I'm not
I thought you looked like that a little bit. Rocky Boyman is the newest Lion. They signed him this week, a free agent. Played his college ball at Notre Dame. Played for Gunther Cunningham in Kansas City. Played for Jim Schwartz in Tennessee. That's why you don't burn bridges, right?
It's all about comfort for coaches as
Better
well.
believe it. It's no different than you and I in our jobs. Brian Brom continues at the quarterback position for Buffalo in a battle with Ryan Fitzpatrick for the number 2 spot. Steps up and he'll run. Not known for his running until now. Inside the 25.
Well, Bromway said earlier he has a nice feel in the pocket. The pressure comes from the outside, so he steps up in the pocket. There's no interior pressure. Everything gets funneled to the outside. He feels that. Sees the gaping hole up the middle, and he just heads upfield and picks up a nice gain. I think he's helping his cause right now. He's setting the bar a little bit high for Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's going to get a lot of reps in the second half.
Picked up 17, and the handoff to Joyke Bell. This is the kid out of Wayne State, a rookie free agent, Rob, who has really impressed. I mean, people really like this kid.
You know, Matt, he originally was supposed to be like a 3rd or 4th round draft pick, and he went to the combine, and he ran a 4.6. And you know what his comment is, you know what, I may not run well on the clock. Put me in a game. So many people catch me.
He's a game.
I have game speed, and that is true. I mean, it's not a myth. Some people play faster in pads at game speed, and he attests that he's one of those individuals. And we're going to get a look now.
He's the lone setback on 2nd down and long. Brown will throw. And knocked away by Dre Bly.
And that's how you compete. And that's why Dre Bly's lasted in the league as long as he has. A good job in man coverage, really competing for the ball when it's in the air, and that's what you want to see. Make a play. Dre Bly, what he lacks in speed, he makes up in ball skills at his age. He can really go and get it still, as long as he's in the vicinity.
You mentioned game speed for Joyke Bell. Last year against Indianapolis at Wayne State, a pass was picked off. Everybody thought the guy was gone, the cornerback. Joyke Bell ran the length of the field and caught him at the 2-yard line. Brown, his pass incomplete, 2 flags on the play. Good pressure by Turk McBride that nearly had him for a sack.
Well, you want to make the team, and after you hear this call, we would look at a young man who's doing everything necessary.
Holding, offense, number 62. That penalty is declined. The result of the play, 4th down.
You look right in the middle of the screen. Got caught listening to the official, and Joyke Bell did a really nice job of stepping up in the pocket.
Yeah, you're right.
And putting his shoulder in and keeping his head up, and that's what you want to see.
So that brings up another field goal situation for Ryan Lindell. Number 2 all time on Buffalo's points list. He's made one from 47 and 50. This one from 41. Mormon is the holder. It's all academic, isn't it? 16-0 Buffalo, but 3 field goals for Chan Gailey and the Bills. If you want to be the pessimist, I suppose they've had opportunities to get 7. Gunther Cunningham's defense has turned them away. Well, this telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League, and it is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Detroit Lions and the National Football League is strictly prohibited. Starting them early, that's cute. Lots of kids here in the preseason. And a lot of folks, as we mentioned in our open, trying to get a gauge on what this team's going to deliver this year.
Well, let's hope that this is an indication, because right now, Buffalo is a team that's really carried the play. 3 drives. Now, granted, they all ended up in field goals, as you said. Gunther Cunningham will find some solace in that. But they also had the interception for a touchdown. The Lions really have mounted nothing offensively. A couple of first downs here and there. And as I said, Jim Schwartz is going to have one of those Newt Rockney speeches at halftime and really go in there. I think he's going to chew some butt and get guys fired up and say, no one's made this team yet. Some of you think you made this team, but you're going to have to prove that you belong here.
Well, he did last Saturday. He chewed some tail, and Calvin Johnson said, I like the way we responded to his speech. This is Derek Williams. Oh, man, is he mauled at the 26-yard line. Ferguson just chewed him up and spit him out.
You got Ferguson and Moats, 44 and 45, are going to come into the picture here and just decleat. And that's a, you know, there's no down gear in Rodney Ferguson there. He didn't downshift at all. And get a little listen. That's an owie. That's why a lot of people get asked to return kicks, and not a lot of people volunteer to do it.
It's a tough position. It really is. Drew Stanton is the quarterback for Detroit. He'll sling it out. A little stop and start for Aaron Brown, but he's dragged out. There are some guys that have impressed my partners so far in the preseason. We call them the wow players.
Yeah, you notice these 4 are all on the offensive side of the football, and I think they're going to wow us a lot as the season goes on. And that's Stafford. We talk about his skill set. Best, the really good speed and the vision, as Charlie Sanders has alluded to a few times. Kelvin Johnson is Kelvin Johnson. Everyone knows what he can do. He's a physical freak. And then Brandon Pettigrew, I think, is the one that's really going to emerge as the season progresses.
You know, the beauty of that graphic is they're all very young. Pump fake by Stafford. He'll roll away from it. Eyes scanning the field, and Stanton will run out of bounds at about the 30-yard line. Well, Drew Stanton is solidified as the number 3 signal call. There are worse number 3s in the NFL. He's done well in the preseason, seriously.
He has. I think he's played well. If you watch Drew compared to some of the other quarterbacks. There's something about his game, whether it's his delivery, his pocket presence, that's just a little bit left of center. But he still has a way of getting it done.
Yeah,
so everyone, does things differently. The bottom line is, what is the outcome? And so far this preseason, it's been pretty good for Drew.
Can't argue with his attitude either. Very positive, upbeat guy. 4.5 to go in the half. A quick slant to Tim Toon and another drop.
Now they talk about Drew Stanton. Does he have the arm strength? You're going to see some arm strength on his play. He sets in the pocket and he lets this go. This ball is coming out, we like to say, hot. He's throwing the inside post.
Got to catch it.
And what Tim Toon did incorrectly there, he tried catching the ball in his arms. You can look at Drew, sets his feet, delivers. Very decisive. That's what you want. He read his key. He knew he was going with the ball. But Tim Toon tried cradling the ball in his arms instead of just snatching it with his hands. And he's kicking himself right now because he knows that he's on a short leash as well as most of these guys that are in the game right now are.
Naaman Roosevelt. He will return it. Get to the 26-yard line. Lions have had a couple of drops that would have been first downs. They had a big run called back. Many things disturbing right now to Jim Schwartz. Stafford, Stanton, and Hill talking things over.
A little fraternity. Matthew Stafford, I like the fact he's staying in the game. He's working with his understudies a little bit, and coaching them up. And maybe, also just trying to find out. You see Scott Linehan talking to him, and everything's important. Everything can be a coaching moment in football. It doesn't have to be what happens during the play. It can be off to the sidelines. Coaches see something. Maybe the quarterbacks pick something up that happened when Stanton was in that last series. So they work together. They look at some still shots. They drop a few plays and see if they can make the best of it.
Well, we know these are the 3 quarterbacks that this club will carry. There's no question. How about the rest of this roster, how it breaks down in your mind anyway?
Well, I think we talked about a little bit early on in the pregame. The running backs, you have 5 running backs, you still have 6 on the roster. One has to go. Now, whether that's D.D. Dorsey, Maurice Morris, or Aaron Brown, I think Kevin Smith is safe. So it's going to be one of them. The wide receivers, you have 5. But one of those wide receivers is going to be receiver/return guy. Now, that could be Dennis Northcutt. They know what he can do. It can also be Derek Williams.
Yeah.
He's a return guy. And Aaron Brown trying to get in there maybe as a return guy in the running back position, which would enable maybe Brian Clark, who's more of a receiver/cover guy on special teams. So there's a lot of interesting spots. In the tight ends 3, we talked about Dan Gronkowski really on the outside looking in right now.
Very interesting to see Jim Schwartz cuts by the time Saturday's 4 o'clock deadline comes. Chad Simpson with a shoulder shake, maybe pick up 1. Simpson in his 3rd year out of Morgan State. Played for the Colts a year ago and signed in Buffalo as a free agent. Rocky Boyman in on the tackle.
Just watch him flow to the left. He reads the guard, he flows, and he gets caught up coming back in the wash a little bit. This is what it's like. You're trying to find a needle in the haystack sometimes when you're in there, and there's all kinds of bodies flying around. And that's why it's so important for linebackers. You have to read their keys. They're going to take you to the football, and you have to believe it.
2nd down and 9 for the Bills. Brom on a quick drop. They'll run it again. And dive to about the 33 or so. Let's give him 7, shall we? Landon Cohen from his defensive tackle position tracking him down. We talked about Landon's strength before, but how about his ability to chase down the quarterback? Not bad, huh?
A little bit short in stature, only about 6'2", but plays with a lot of leverage, a lot of strength, and as you said, good lateral movement down the line of scrimmage. And right now, Brom showing a little bit of Doug Flutie. Buffalo Bills. He's not staying in the pocket very long. 3 times he's exited and tried to do it with his feet.
3rd down and 3. Blitz comes. Screen to Simpson. He's got a bit of a wall and gets to the 42, enough for a first down. Brian Brom looks pretty good, don't you think?
He does, and he does a nice job. And they're going to bring pressure off the corner. They're bringing bodies. It's really the perfect play call if you're a Bills. They're bringing the middle linebacker as well as a corner coming off the edge, and they set up the screen. And the Lions really do a decent job. That's Bavay, I think he slid off the tackle. Did a nice job. That could have been a lot bigger gain than it was.
2:10 remaining in this opening half. Simpson again. Backwards.
23.
Slow to get up, too.
Jaron Baston. Ashley Palmer on the tackle.
I think it was Jaron
And
Baston there, partner.
That is the
This is the
two-minute warning for the first half. Rocky Boyman and the Lions trying to hold strong. They're down by 16.
We are at the 2-minute warning here at Ford Field. The Lions, to be honest, not a whole lot to show for their efforts. They're trailing the Buffalo Bills 16-0 in this, the fourth and final preseason game. Coming up at the half, we have a show for you. We're going to have the AT&T play of the first half. I'll bring Charlie Sanders back on for some analysis. You'll also get an update on your local news, and Jim Schwartz is going to join us, get his thoughts. Fellas?
Oh, what an interception! That was spectacular by Landon Johnson, and he's still on his feet. Check that, it's Ashley Palmer, 58, not 55. And the second-year pro out of Mississippi with a little bit of a game-changing moment in this opening half.
Well, we're going to get a look here. They're just trying to run Fashi. He's going to go right to the hook area. And he curls outside, coming back from the inside, peeling on the legs. He gets hit, the ball goes flying in the air. He makes a nice one-handed grab. Fashi just curling, and a good job bringing it off the corner that time.
What a grab.
Is that Aaron Berry? I'm trying to get a number, number
The
40.
action on the last play is under video review.
Beautiful catch by Ashley Palmer, and then that 36-yard return. Chan Gailey and the Bills want that play reviewed. So Jerome Boger will go over to the hooded area and check it out and see if the call stands or it's second down for Buffalo. Booth review in the last couple of minutes, rather, not the Chan Gailey. Either way, they'll take a look at it. Well, there's no question that it's a catch.
Right, they're just going to look back to see if and where where he stepped out of bounds.
If he stepped out of bounds.
No way.
No, he did not.
Looks
That's an impressive return, isn't it?
We talked about Palmer and
Johnson.
Landon Johnson about trying to fight to make this squad. You make plays like that. That's a great, gives you a nice opportunity to get on the 53. All these guys were high school running backs, so let's not forget that one time, or junior high, rocket football.
Because most of these guys are the best players.
Well, they're the best
team.
athletes, right? They're going to be running back until they got so big where they're out over the weight limit, and they had to put them either linebacker or D-line.
Hey, how sweet is that for Ashley Palmer, who was acquired off waivers from Buffalo? Talk about that for a long time, don't you think?
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Interception and return.
So a big play made by the Buffalo defense in the first quarter. Big play made by Ashley Palmer and the Lions defense here in the second quarter.
And some of the players might be thanking Ashley Palmer because it may take a little bit of the sting out of Jim Schwartz in his halftime tirade, so to speak.
Stand with a quarterback draw. Down at the 7-yard line. Drew Stanton led Detroit to the comeback win in Denver that closed out 25-20.
Showing some flashes of that running ability, which he demonstrated at Michigan State as well as Farmington Hills Harrison in high school. He's a quarterback that quite versatile.
Aaron Brown took a hit, but kept going forward, got inside the 5-yard line. Brown running hard between the tackles, sticking his nose in there. Jim Schwartz told us early in the week that Aaron Brown, a lot better conditioned, understands the playbook a lot better. It's a comfort thing, and Schwartz hustles over.
First charge timeout,
timeout.
Detroit. This will be a 30-second timeout.
But it is a big reason why a lot of guys in their second year in a system show much more than they do in their first year. They become much more comfortable. Brown telling you and I earlier in the week that I don't have to think as much. I just play football. That's a big part of it, don't you think?
It absolutely is. Not to date myself, but when I started with the Lions, the most intelligent thing that I did was I moved to Detroit, and I lived in Oakland University's campus for 2 summers, my first 2 years, so I could learn the offense, and that gave me such an advantage going to camp where I was comfortable and I could play. I didn't have to think as much, I could play, and that's what Aaron Brown is experiencing now.
Helps to have the same offensive coordinator and Scott Linehan for the second consecutive year. 3rd down and 1 for Detroit. Felton, oh, he's a load, and he gets a first down. He's tough to bring down, Jerome Felton.
You can see the big man roll at number 45. What a nice down block and kick. Look at Will Heller, 89. John Jansen, 16. You know what? You know, receivers get fired up when they make a big catch. When you manhandle a guy as John Jansen just did, he was fired up. That's nice to see.
Under 30 seconds to go in the half. Felton again, right into the belly of that defense, shy of the goal line. A flag on the play.
We're going to have defensive offside. The Lions are going to do over here.
Offside, defense, number 97, lining up in the neutral zone. Half the distance to the goal. Replay, first down.
We'll get a nice view from the side. You can't, actually kiss the center.
It is
you can
tough,
ask
isn't
him.
it?
You can speak nicely to him, but you can't get up in his grill like that. That's get called every time.
Felton, second effort, won't get there. And another timeout burned by Jim Schwartz and the Lions with 14 seconds remaining.
This will be a 30-second timeout.
Felton's one of those guys they're counting on for the short yardage situations. They need
a fullback, and he's really the
yeah.
only fullback left on the roster. They released Jake Nordine, who was a tight end / fullback. So yeah, Jerome Felton is secure, but once again, you have the waiver wire. We say is secure. He's secure to make the initial 53-man roster, but after that, all bets are off. Yeah, they like him in the short yardage, but I think you're limited with Jerome running from tackle to tackle. You're not going to try to get the edge run on him, but
he does have to. He does have to prove that he's effective inside, right. Don't you think? They want him to move the pile, in Jim Schwartz's words.
The offensive line coach George Arnold right now, he would like this offensive line to be able to come off and just pound it in, but boy, I wouldn't be surprised if Stanton roll out, maybe do a boot.
Now Buffalo calls a timeout.
Buffalo.
Jimmy Schwartz is even laughing about this a little bit. 16-0 Buffalo. Bills have a little pride too. They, even second teamers, maybe some third teamers, who knows? They don't want anyone scoring on them. Buffalo 2-1, Detroit 2-1. Buffalo a winner last week, by the way, over Cincinnati, 35-20. Rob, it's the most points they've scored in a preseason game since 1996 last week. Doesn't mean you can read much into it, but Chan Gailey is seen as an offensive guy, right?
Oh, and you've seen some good things from this offense.
Yeah.
Buffalo, if you're a Buffalo Bills fan, obviously you've seen some receivers open, the ball delivered where it needed to be. Some pretty good execution. They couldn't finish the drives, but they were still able to move the ball.
Felton is the lone setback. See what Stanton does. Give it to him again. Pays off. Touchdown, Lions.
We're going to get a look in the trenches and see where the push comes from and how Jerome Felton takes advantage of it. They spread him out a little bit. Only one back in the backfield. But you see Dylan Gandy, the center, getting pushed back a little bit, but also on the left side there, good job. I think that was Jerron Baston, 69. You got Corey Hilliard, 78, all trying to get a push inside, staying on the men. Big backs like Felton, they don't need a lot of room in there. You just got to get them just a crease, and they'll get in it.
Where's the love for the tight end? Will Heller had a nice block inside there. Jason Hanson's first kick of the preseason. Looks like he's been doing it for 20 years. Oh, by the way,
yes. Shep, we're going to look at Will Heller on this one. He's done a nice job the entire evening. He's the one the nearest to your screen. Good job. Look at the good drive and just burying down inside.
That's a pancake block, isn't it?
Yeah, but you know what? It's not as impressive because he's almost as big as all the defensive ends. He's not 250. He's like 280 and yoked.
He is a big, big man. There's the scoring drive for Detroit. 5 plays after the interception by Ashley Palmer. And that was really the key play. Even though Felton will get credit for the 1-yard touchdown plunge, it was Ashley Palmer who made it happen for Detroit. 16-7 Buffalo. Again, we'll talk with Jim Schwartz. Steve Courtney will visit with the head coach on the sidelines before he heads down the tunnel and into the locker room. Steve Hauschka, who's done a nice job for Jim Schwartz as a kickoff guy and as a field goal kicker. Never expected to get the job away from Jason Hansen. All he was doing was putting himself on film to try and audition for other opportunities that might arise. Squib kick. Ooh, spinning away from it. And down at the 30-yard line, his Dominique Harris. So 3 seconds remain.
You want to cover, you want to return? Coming down inside. You know what? Joyce Bell really delivered it that time. He really brought it, Matt. Did a good job of snapping that. I know that was Caleb Campbell coming in there. Or Vinny Churchu, number 52. But I think Vinny might have got the worst of that. Let's look at Vinny. One of those linebackers we talked about who's in a fight.
Brian Brom will take a knee. And the Bills will head to the locker room leading 16-7. Only one offensive touchdown in the first half. And it was by Detroit's Jerome Felton. Matthew Stafford intercepted early on by Drayton Florence. They returned it, and Buffalo leads by 9. Steve Courtney's with the head coach. Steve?
All right, thank you very much, Matthew. Coach, nice to cash in there late in the half. 1 half of football left, 4th preseason game. Pretty important half of football for guys trying to make their way into the NFL.
Yeah, we started slow. Good to see us punch that one in and get back in this game. Second half is going to be to tell the tape for a lot of these guys. So we're going to see some jobs on the line. Hopefully they can go out and earn one.
All right, Coach, you've got some assessing to do. Thank you for your time as always, sir. Jim Schwartz, Lions head coach, with us here. And again, the number is 53 coming up Saturday afternoon at 4. Indeed, a very important second half of football for some guys. Stay tuned. The halftime report coming your way. We'll have that for you after a word from our sponsors.
Well, as Jim Schwartz told our Steve Courtney at the half, guys playing for jobs, and they have 30 minutes to get it done right now. A little sense of urgency from the players who are on that proverbial bubble.
And, you know, people watching this have to really appreciate what these guys are going through. They think, oh, they're so lucky to get to go to NFL camp. You know, they get a chance to try to make it, but their life depends on this right now. Their livelihood, I should say. And so they're trying, and this half could determine on it. Just think if your job that you went to every week depended on, 30 minutes, how you ended on a Friday, whether or not you keep your job.
Joyce Bell, the Wayne State grad, from the goal line to the 25-yard line. And that's where Buffalo sets up shop for their offense. Brian Brom trots out there for at least another series here in the third quarter. Don't really think he hurt himself all that much in the first half, but it's not as much about hurting yourself, or instead maybe seizing the opportunity when you're in a fight for whatever string you're playing for. In this case, it's the second string position behind Trent Edwards. To Joyce Bell, flag on the play. Minimal gain for the rookie out of Wayne State.
Okay, we're going to stop. You want to see how you get off the ball in defense? Watch that. That's anticipating the snap count by Andre Fluellen and Landon Cohen as well inside. Both get penetration in the backfield, forcing Joyce Bell to leave the path which he intended. Forcing him to bubble quickly, making the play. So that man guessed correctly that time. If they don't go on the count, you're guessing you're gonna look a little bit silly.
It's good work by his hands too. We talk about linemen and their feet, but that's good handwork on the part of Phil Leonard. Brom underneath, little curl route, and it's caught by J.P. Fasci, who had that ball go in and out of his hands in the second quarter for Ashley Palmer to intercept. Fasci, a fourth-year pro out of Georgia Tech, was with Cincinnati in 2009 and had career highs in catches, yards, and touchdowns.
You got the old school neck roll on there too.
Looks like Fred Smerlis. Remember him? Steve Grogan of the Patriots. Classic.
Quarterback with a neck roll.
Second down and 11. And the way he took a thumping, he needed it. Brom on a delay. Bell is smothered by Landon Cohen.
Landon Cohen is doing everything to secure himself a spot in that 53-man roster. Andre, if we want to jump it, we're going to get it's going to be a tight view. He's going to come right in here. He's going to get penetration. Number 98 sheds the blocker. We'll get another look here. Watch him get into the gap. He'll get penetration, get into the backfield.
It's almost a one-arm tackle, isn't it?
It is. I tell you, he's really had a nice camp. He had a couple offsides where he jumped in Denver, but really has made some plays.
So powerful. Brom on third down and long. Steps up into the pocket. He's got a lane. Flag flies. Angling for the first down. Got it. Paid the price, that's for sure. Going low is Dante Wesley. See if the flag is against Buffalo, though.
While the quarterback was in the pocket, illegal contact, defense, number 41. 5-yard penalty added to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Fifth penalty against Detroit tonight.
You're going to hit Dante Wesley. He's right on the bottom here. It's going to happen way down the field. He lets him go here. No, as Brom starts, now you see the left hand go up, then another left hand. And if once the quarterback leaves the pocket, then you can chuck the receiver. Then you can use your hands. But Brom was still in the pocket when Wesley had his left hand up there.
Joik Bell. Boy, nice move. Ooh, he is drilled shy of the 45. Coase Simpson came up. Simpson was traded for by Detroit from Buffalo. Traded to the Lions from the Bills, but has had a hard time getting healthy. That safety position. But he brought the hammer there for sure. Second down and 7. Bell again. Not much. Maybe 2. You know, Rob talked about this earlier. Bell won the Harlan Hill Award. That's given to the best Division II player in the nation. Pretty impressive.
He's a young man from Benton Harbor, Michigan. Really exceeded all expectation. Went to Wayne State University and helped put the program back on the map. Wayne State, a solid football program back in the 80s, but has struggled in the past probably 20 years. But last year and last couple of years really have turned it around, and he's a big reason why.
Brom on third down. Pressure comes, he delivers, it's caught, and then bobbled and dropped. The intended receiver was Donald Jones, the rookie out of Youngstown State.
Donald Jones is going to be isolated with Dante Wesley. Dante Wesley, a bigger corner, more physical. You can see him use his hands a little bit, try to throw him off rhythm. You got to keep your base, and as Jones come back, Wesley a little bit slower on the turn, but by closing in the ball, getting your hands into the catching area, he's able to knock the ball loose and forcing a punt.
Wesley 6'1", 215. That is a big corner, very big corner. Aaron Berry, first time we'll see him as a punt returner tonight. Fair catch made at the 14-yard line. So with 11:24 left to go in the third, the Lions take over on offense, trailing by 9. Bills lead it despite not being able to score an offensive touchdown so far in this one, 16-7. They're in front with Detroit getting their first possession of the third. Drew Stanton back out there for the Lions. Stanton only threw one pass in the first half. It was on the money but dropped by Tim Toon, the man to his left.
Lions first down this time around their 14.
This is D.D. Dorsey. Slithers through past the 15. Speaking of running backs, Javid Best and C.J. Spiller. Neither wasn't playing tonight, but there was a lot of debate who the best running back in the draft was. Spiller out of Clemson, taken 9th overall. Detroit traded up to get Javid Best, 30th overall. Both first rounders. Those are their numbers the last 2 seasons in college.
It'll be kind of interesting to watch their careers unfold and see how they match up in the NFL as well. But both of them, you can see outstanding speed.
Stanton. And that one is incomplete as he tried to squeeze it into 22. What's not shown there is the number of 100-yard games over the last 2 years. Spiller with just 4, and Javid Best with 13. And there's Javid Best, solidified himself as the #1 tailback on this football team. And you've been really impressed by him, and it takes a lot to improve a former player.
Well, I like his intelligence. I like the way he sees things. He picks up blitz. He's not afraid to step up in there. Not the biggest back, but he doesn't shy away from contact a bit.
Stanton throws and incomplete. Javid Best this preseason has averaged 8.5 yards per carry, partner.
Yeah, and he showed explosiveness, and that's what the Lions need and have been lacking over the past few years. Kevin Smith, a durable, competent back, but Javid Best, he brings that excitement, that big play capability, able to take it to the house at any time. And Denver got a little taste of it there. So yeah, he's a little bit special, I think, and time will tell. You know, we're getting on the bandwagon pretty quick here, but he has the tools. Now let's see how it unfolds.
Nick Harris to punt it away. Spiraling kick. Norman Roosevelt backpedals and tries to return to the 40-yard line. So Detroit's offense fails to do much, and now it's Buffalo on the attack again, up 16-7 in Motown. 10:35 remaining here in the third. Some folks diehard sticking around despite the Lions trailing by 9 in the final preseason game of the year. We talked about guys trying to impress. Caleb Campbell is one of those guys. The Lions draft pick in the 7th round 2 years ago, forced back into the Army. Comes back to an organization where the general manager, head coach, and defensive coordinator are all new, and they ask him to switch from safety to linebacker. Was stationed at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, where he worked out with a former coach and ran the obstacle courses while working out with the U.S. Olympic bobsled team. As Detroit gets more pressure from Landon Cohen.
He's having a heck of a game. This young man from University of Ohio. We're gonna look right here. He just uses speed. He's too quick. He has a great burst, splits the block, gets into the backfield, and then constricts it quickly. That's what you like.
Well, again, here's a guy who started some games a year ago, and he's working against a lot of Buffalo offensive linemen who are second and third stringers. He's manhandling them right now. That is a loss of 7. Brian Brom says, somebody block him, please. A quick toss, complete to Chad Jackson. He's sandwiched at the 39-yard line.
Yeah, Isaiah Akajuba, the linebacker that time, a good job of recognition, but you have to break down. We talked about early on, you got to keep your head up. You got to come under control, because no matter how much speed you have, you can see Akajuba is going to fly out here, and he just whiffs. And these receivers are athletic. You have to come under control, or you will miss.
They like Akajuba, though, in his 6th year out of Virginia. They like him as a special teams player primarily. Very lean, 6'4", 240. 3rd down and 12 for Brown. A delay. Simpson made a nice move. And corralled just shy of midfield by Caleb Campbell and Rocky Boyman.
Well, Campbell does a nice job. You're going to see. He's going to drop back in a little bit. He reads past. When he sees the draw, he comes up, takes on the blocker, gets grabbed a little bit, but is able to slide off and get in on the tackle and stopping Simpson short of the 1st down, forcing the punt.
Stay out there on special teams. Gunther Cunningham told you and me that he's surprised how much Campbell has grown at the linebacker position, because when he first got here, he was beyond rust. Derek Williams to field this punt. A fair catch it at the 14-yard line. And that's where Detroit will take over with 8.5 or so left to go in the third. Order up all the you-can-eat seats and enjoy all the hot dogs, the burgers, the snacks, the soft drinks that you can tackle. I know I'm hungry right now too. Call 1-800-745-3000 or visit DetroitLions.com. DetroitLions.com. Get Lions ready. I'm so hungry I can't even read it without thinking about a hot dog or a bratwurst or a burger or something like that from the concession stand. Brian Clark is into the ball game. He wears 87 in blue for Detroit. This club as a wide receiver and as a guy who participates on special teams. Stanton will throw. Wants it all for Aaron Brown. Too long and a flag on the play.
Well, I don't think we get pass interference outside. They are. That's where the flag. I thought it was. I saw Brian Clark was in the slot, also going vertical, was getting bumped a little bit. We're going to look at the top of the screen here. They split Aaron Brown out. This is about the third time tonight, and Stanton throws about as far as he can. And there's some jostling going on. And
defense.
And if you
number
get
26,
the arm,
grabbing the receiver's arm.
if you get the arm up, as you saw Ashton Bodie do that time, they're going to call it every time. Sometimes they'll allow it inside on the waist, but as soon as you get it up, like in the rip position, up on the receiver's arms, you're going to get hammered every time.
What, to prohibit him from trying
getting
to
his arms up?
Yeah. So first down at the 44 of Buffalo. Stanton stands tall, throws again. Incomplete for Clark.
Brian Clark has got to do a better job of getting off the jam. Bodie was on him again that time. You got to give the quarterback at least a porthole. You don't have to have a big window, but it's got to be at least a porthole to drop that ball into, and really there was no separation between receiver and defender, and Stanton was almost a little bit lucky, I would say, not to get that intercepted.
2nd and 10. On the ground. Dorsey's another one of those guys you were talking about at the running back position. Plays some special teams, and he's done some nice things to put on tape, whether it be for this team or somebody else.
A little bit different style of running back, smaller in stature, but very quick, good hands. He runs those out of the backfield, does a nice job of getting separation from the linebacker because he comes out of his cut so quickly. But not a guy you're going to pound it with too much. 5'11", 210, but boy, he's a tough matchup for any linebacker.
Played for the Colts in the Super Bowl win against Chicago years ago. Quick slant to Clark, incomplete. Bounced off his chest, pretty good coverage, and Detroit has turned away yet again.
Well, we saw Buffalo complete this early. You're going to see Toon clear out, and Clark's going to come in right behind him. You just got to get separation. Good physical play by Bodie out there. And Brian Clark let that ball get into him. Man, you got to get your hands out to be the shock absorber, to catch the ball with your hands, then bring it into your body. Because if you catch it on your body, if the defender makes contact at the same time in your back, it's just going to cough it out.
Naaman Roosevelt with his heels at his own 10-yard line. Nick Harris will try and drop this one inside the 20. Something that he does as well as anybody in the league, and does. Look at that beautiful coverage downfield. What a punt by Harris. And Buffalo's in a deep hole when we come back. No scoring so far here in the third. Our player profile is brought to you by Wallside Windows. Moments ago, Steve Courtney caught up with Megatron Calvin Johnson.
Calvin, more times than not during this preseason, the first group offense has looked in sync. It's looked confident. That goes from you to Matthew Stafford to the offensive line.
Yeah, definitely. Today's been a little different. We came out a little rocky, but maybe that's a good thing going into the season. So we can go back come back next week before game 1 and sharpen it up.
Calvin, go back a year ago, and the offense struggled in the running game. A good run game helps the passing game. Javed Best comes in handy there.
No doubt. Javed Best. We got Kevin Smith with Maurice Morris. We got a couple of good guys in there that can take the ball downfield.
Scott Linehan. Little cohesion there, offensive coordinator, 2nd year in a row. That helps everybody across the board.
No doubt, being able to have the same guy and not, have a big change there. Everybody knows the playbook, everybody knows what's going on. So like you said, everybody's in sync.
Calvin, thank you very much for your time. All the best to you.
No problem, thank you.
All right, Calvin Johnson, back upstairs.
Good stuff. Thanks, Steve, as always. Calvin Johnson, Wants to own his own business when he's done playing football. Hopefully that won't be for a long, long time, though. Levi Brown is the quarterback now for Buffalo. Brown rolling, throwing, and incomplete. That's a tough pass to catch, especially for a tight end, J.P. Fashi. And there's a flag on the play.
You might get a defensive hold.
Holding, defense, number 56. Correction, number 36. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
It's on Paul Pratt. Are you ever wrong when it comes to those? I don't think you've been wrong all preseason.
You know, I just kind of watch where the flag comes from, and you can always watch that ref before the people at home can see it. And he usually gives that.
Don't give away your secrets.
But Paul Pratt,
secrets,
that was, you know, I really didn't see. I saw him kind of locked up a little bit. I didn't see him grab, but he was locked up with the receiver and he gets nailed.
Brings with it a first down. Anderson to the outside. Another flag. He's corralled from behind by Coach Simpson.
Yeah, they're going to get the tight end here. This is when you're out there on the edge. You know, I think it's Fashi that time. 82.
Holding, offense, number 82. Half the distance to the goal. Replay, first down.
He's up against Corey Bosworth, number 97, the defensive end. You're going to see he gets his paw outside a little bit. He'll come back into your screen. You got to let go of that jersey. And you stretch it out like that, and you see Bosworth pleading his case early on as he was still chasing the ball carrier.
Palms to the sky. Somebody throw the flag, blow a whistle, do something. Chad Jackson is hurt for Buffalo, though. Jackson actually was a second-round pick for New England in 2006. And while they watch him thankfully walk to the sidelines, we'll take a quick timeout. You are so good. How long have you been practicing that?
Half this quarter.
Levi Brown on a first down and 13. He'll air it out, and it will be dropped at the 30-yard line. Not a bad pass, but incomplete, intended for Donald Jones.
Well, Donald Jones has got to come up with this catch. This is the NFL. That was put on his hands by Levi Brown that time, and you've got to make this catch right on the end. I think Dante Wesley thought he had a little safety help over the top, which arrived late, but you need that burst, and the great receivers have it.
Yes.
They can give that little extra gear when the ball's in the air, whether it's just a half a step, they're able to accelerate to get out, get their hands on it, and make the play.
Jones set Youngstown State school records, single-season records in catches and yards a year ago. Empty backfield for Brown. Looking, throwing, and incomplete. That one thrown behind his intended receiver. Brings up a third down and 13 situation. Ramon Roosevelt was the intended receiver that time.
And Levi Brown under no pressure. They say that he is slotted as the number 3 quarterback. They got him out of Troy this year. The battle is who's going to stay, whether it's Fitzpatrick or Brown for the number 2 slot. So he's safe. This is just practice for him right in this situation.
On the ground. Anderson shy of the 10. It's all about field position right there, isn't it? I mean, Detroit pins them deep at the 1, and then Gunther Cunningham's defense rises to the occasion. Should give Detroit's offense decent field position.
And that defense is being led by number 98, Landon Cohen, really having a day. You're going to see him using his hands, getting up into the blocker, sliding down the line of scrimmage. Look at the strength you talked about. Able to just take that left arm and push Nick Hennessy away, the big tackle. And
he's so much fun, though, isn't he?
Oh, he's a great kid.
He really does. He loves
enjoys
football.
life.
Yeah,
and he enjoys life. I have a chance to work with him in the wintertime a little bit, doing some fundraising basketball. And he's great with the young people, and he's a credit to Ohio U.
Dennis Northcutt. Oh, nice move. Found a little bit of a seam and stretches to the 41-yard line. Puts Detroit's offense in really good shape.
You know, people are watching this game and saying, you know, geez, it really should be over. The starters aren't playing, but this is why they play these preseason games, to evaluate personnel. Dennis Northcutt now getting a chance albeit in the third quarter of the fourth preseason game, to return a punt. Get a look at him. Compare what he's done with the other punt returns. You
He's
look
got
at
a
Aaron
pretty good proven track record.
Well, he does,
too, right?
and he's more of a known quantity to him, and that's why you haven't seen as much of him in the preseason. It's more looking at some of the other guys, and that's why he's been a punt returner in this league. You see that acceleration on that last return.
Stanton will throw. Curl pattern for Will Heller. His 5th catch of the preseason. He's been very, very steady. You know what you're going to get with Will Heller. Good blocking, special teams guy, and he doesn't need the football every single series, does he?
No, he doesn't. He does a good job using that big body, too, whether it's in the running game or the passing game. He shields the defender.
Detroit's tight ends are 6'5", 6'5", 6'6", and 6'6". Dede Dorsey stops and starts. Inside the 25. Good run right there. He said, don't forget about me now. Yep. He just picked up 11.
And if you're going to be running back in the NFL, you obviously have to get the yards that are there, but you have to be able to make people miss. And he does a nice job of making the first defender come up and miss. And then you see Ellison take a dive, making a couple miss. And we saw him do this in Denver very well in the open field. We saw it more in the passing game, this time coming out of the backfield. He makes things happen.
Not a bad blocker either. Again, squeezed his way and rolled down to the 15-yard line, maybe inside the 15.
And not afraid to run between the tackles. Does a nice job of keeping tight to the hole. The offensive line's going to be zoned. They're all going to step to the left. It's just a zone blocking scheme. And it's up to the back to stretch the defense, find the seam that he wants, and then cut it up into. There's no designated hole. It can be anywhere along the line where everyone is stepping out, creating the seams.
I like him. I think he's done a nice job in the preseason. Stanton will throw. Good pocket. Touchdown, Will Heller! No, that's Dan Gronkowski. Oh, what a pass and what a grab.
And we may have a late hit on
holding. Offense. Number 7.
You're kidding me.
10-yard penalty. Replay.
We're going to hit Jason Fox. I thought we were going to late hit because I saw Jason Fox pointing, but let's take a look at Gronkowski and Stanton really do a nice job. He's going to start right here. All he's going to do is wide a little bit, go right down the seam, and Stanton does a nice job of seeing it, get a little bit of width, tighten it, let the quarterback bring you back in. You don't come in, hangs onto the ball after the. Let's get a look right here at Jason Fox. He's going to be the left tackle. Let's see what happens. A little bit of a game. Late grabbing it, really unnecessary. The ball is already coming out as the hold occurs, but he did get the hook on him.
2nd down and 12. Fox, a 4th-round pick this year out of Miami. Underneath to Dorsey. Dorsey, man-to-man miss. Inside the 10 to the 5. Touchdown, Dede Dorsey!
You know, you gotta like Dede Dorsey. He makes it look easy in the open field. As defenders come up on him, it looks like he wasn't even trying. He's going to catch this ball in space, and this is when he is at his best. You get this young man, he's just going to come out into the flat again. He's going to leak across. Stanton looks down the field and just dumps it. Now, first Bill comes up, nah, not even close. Second Bill, he just beats with the speed, and Mike Moore, number 17, the wideout to that side, doing a nice job of staying on the block. We saw Eric Fowler do that last week. Mike Moore showing that he can block down the field as well.
Hanson now on for the extra point. And Detroit is within 2. Drew Stanton with his first touchdown toss of the preseason.
And you like Stanton. Like he's looking down the field, down the field, down the field. Okay, I'll just dump it. And watch how easy he beats Arthur Moats, the linebacker. Just a little bit of a hip shake and a little bit of power taking it into the backfield, into the end zone. A little head shake. And I like this kid. He sees the field. He has a nose for the goal line, and he has the ability to finish. He's done nothing. He hasn't rather done anything to not solidify a job in this team. Everything that he's done in this preseason has been positive. You saw him at Denver. Now, we're not there at practice every day. You are most days. I'm not. But when he's given the opportunity in the game, he's really made the most of him, man.
Yeah, he did say that his legs felt a little heavy in the opener against Pittsburgh. Since that time, he has done so many things, showed so much versatility. A guy, by the way, folks, who played for Las Vegas in the UFL in 2009. That's how bad he wants back in the NFL. And Jim Schwartz has some decisions to make at that tailback position. 4 plays, 40 yards in under 2 minutes. That Lions offense.
You know, and D.D. Dorsey has that added value that he's a good special teams player as well.
Right, yeah.
Where, you know, Kevin Smith really hasn't had many reps at that because he's been the running back, the starting back for the Lions for the first few years.
Donald Jones past the 20-yard line to the 21 or so. Now, there are some guys on this Lions football team that if they don't stick with this club, will get some looks from somebody else. Dan Gronkowski, whose touchdown was called back. Who knows? D.D. Dorsey, you never know. Aaron Brown could be one of those guys. There is going to be a team out there that says, I could use some speed, I could use some versatile backs that will look at these guys. Drew Stanton talking over things with Matthew Stafford and Scott Linehan. Here's Levi Brown on a play action. Has some time. And incomplete. A little high for his tight end, Fashi.
Scoring drive, covered 40 yards in 4 plays. Time of possession 1 minute 53 seconds. They score.
Dorsey talking things over there with Kevin Smith explaining the play. Kevin Smith is kind of looking at him like, hey, I wouldn't mind a play of that like that in my on my resume reel right now for this preseason. David Best has more than one of those plays so far. What he's done in 3 preseason games. 3.5 to go in the third. Delayed handoff. Drake Bell drove it to 25. Bell, by the way, is a guy who finished 5th in NC2A history in any division, because remember, he's a Division II player, in points with 576 in his career, and his all-purpose yards as a Wayne State Warrior of 8,055 is 9th most in the history of the NCAA, no matter what division.
Well, the novelty of a Division II player making the NFL is long gone now. I mean, there's a lot of quality players in the 1AA or the sub-bowl division, whatever you'd like to call it, or Division II that are sprinkled throughout the NFL now, but they're legitimate players.
Bad pass, and it's incomplete, intended for James Hardy.
Well, we got Spivey isolated on Hardy on the tight end, and Spivey being asked to do a few things. Started out the game at safety. Now he's playing some corner, and it's matched up in a little matchup zone against the tight end. Seems to do a pretty good job. Hardy's really got, if you're a Lions fan or Bills fan, you're gonna think you got to make that catch as well. You know, thrown behind you a little bit. You got to start. You can't make all the easy catches. You got to make some of the difficult ones as well.
Norman had to hustle that one away. Dennis Northcutt with a chance to return. And pushed out of bounds at the 23-yard line. Well, here's how Detroit will open up. Starts a week from this Sunday in Chicago. They've made some changes. Mike Martz is their new offensive coordinator. They signed Julius Peppers, gave him a boatload of money. Philadelphia is the home opener. That's Kevin Cobb, the new quarterback there. Then Detroit's at Minnesota and at Green Bay. Really difficult. You see 3 of the first 4 teams Detroit plays are interdivision rivals, but 3 of the first 4 also have double-digit wins from a year ago. Tim Toon on an end around. Kerry Harris came up, made the tackle, the second-year pro out of USC.
Yeah, Tim Toon's going to come around on the reverse, and the turf monster we used to call this is going to get him. Different than playing on grass. He comes around the edge a little bit, tries to make a cut, and Kerry Harris is going to get credit with the tackle, but he was going down before Kerry Harris got there, and you got to keep your base underneath you.
Gronkowski in motion. 2nd down and 10. Good play action by Stanton. Tough throw. Gronkowski's got it. Good block by Toon downfield. Gronkowski looked like he might have been horse collared. Didn't matter. The big fella carried the defender for a first down.
We talked about, Matt, earlier how Drew Stanton sometimes looks a little bit more unorthodox than some quarterbacks, but this is what he does bring to the table. That's athleticism. You're going to see him dainty little leap for Drew Stanton there. You're going to see it. No, very, very agile, and he finds Gronkowski coming over the edge, and Tim Toon downfield trying to make up. You know, he's had a drop ball. He fell on the reverse. He's trying to do something positive, so he's continued to work hard.
Dorsey, close to the 50. Give him 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6 for Detroit. Keith Ellison in on the tackle. Ellison, a backup linebacker in his 5th year out of Oregon State. Former 6th round pick. Mike Moore is split wide to Drew Stanton's right. Like the Bills might bring some pressure here. They come off the edge. Stanton pump fakes and then throws behind Garrett Williams.
Well, Chris Ellis, linebacker, it's just a little bit of pressure. Drew Stanton, he probably need about another half a second to get this ball off where he's looking. You can see 93 coming from the right of your screen, just getting in there, pretty close to a late hit in today's NFL. But he just gets his hands up, pairs the vision enough to cause the incomplete pass.
Ellis, a 3rd rounder out of Virginia Tech in his 3rd season. 3rd down and 6 for Stanton. Quick slant, incomplete. Went through the hands of Aaron Brown. And Detroit will be forced to punt it away again. Well, they sure are getting a good evaluation of their special teams, aren't they?
Yeah, the punts that they missed in the Denver game in the first half and a little bit in the Pittsburgh game and stuff, and the offense was clicking. Is they're getting a lot of looks right now at the special teams unit, and this is where guys need to make the team. You got probably 25 to 30 people fighting for the last 13 spots on this team. I would say 40 are pretty secure, Matt.
Yeah.
So you know there's still work to be done.
Roosevelt drifts to his left, lets it bounce, and beautifully done. Again, 2nd time in a row that Nick Harris has pinned the Bills inside the 5. This one deadened by John Wendling at the 3-yard line, and a late flag. 8 punts for Nick Harris.
I think they're going to get Rocky Boyman taking his helmet off, possibly. And he was heading near the sidelines. They're talking right now. They're saying, you know what, guys, this is preseason. He was about 5 yards from the sideline.
But the officials get evaluated too, don't they?
During the kick, number 35 of the kicking team went out of bounds and was the first to come back and touch the football inside the 5-yard line. This generates a touchback. The ball be placed at the 20-yard line. First down.
I saw the flag come from the side as Boyman was heading off. It came so late, but what they had to do was to see where if he was the one that touched the ball. Once the referee realized it was Wendling, then the flag came out after the play was over.
Well, plus the side just took his hat off too, and that will
indicates that he stepped out of bounds.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate.
I thought he just lost it in the wind. All right, here's Buffalo with 23 seconds left to go in this 3rd quarter. Wow, with a quick toss to Chad Jackson. Jackson close to a 1st down.
Jackson has a nice burst. If he catches the ball, we saw it in the first half. He started this game. He caught a long post play early on, and he has some nice acceleration once he catches the ball at the University of Florida.
Well, we accelerate our way to the 4th quarter. It's 16-14. Bills in front. They will change ends, and when we come back, see if Detroit can stage the comeback in the final preseason game of 2010. You're watching Lions football on the Lions Television Network.
What you expect sometimes in a 4th preseason game, but now we need to see those. We like to see some of the young guys, these guys trying to make the club make a play, just like they did there. Corey Bosworth and big Rob Calloway out of Saginaw Valley State.
Callaway from Mount Morris, Michigan.
I believe he went to Flint Beecher High School. But you can see good penetration, beating the block of Andre Ramsey. And Robert Callaway actually released early on in camp and brought back when the roster move was available and has hung on since.
One of many trying to find a spot for this club. A loss of 4 on the play for Anderson. Brown, pressure, flag on the play. He'll throw, deep ball, and it is caught down the sideline, and touchdown Buffalo.
I think it's going to come.
Hardy.
Yeah, we're going to get a holding call. I don't know if that's who we have down in the field.
That's Corey Bosworth. He was the one being held too.
Holding.
There it is.
Offense, number 66. 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
Doesn't take away from a beautiful catch by James Hardy. Off a tipped pass.
Well, you got to look at Jason Watkins, may be the guilty party. Let's take a look right here. Let's see if he's the one that's going to get nailed. He sets down inside. He's a little bit caught off balance, and Bosworth the one that's going to get the pressure. And that's a little thin in his defense, but the official throws a flag. And Jonathan Heffney's got to realize here, when you knock that ball, you better knock it out of bounds, because if there's someone behind you, just tip it up to him. You just made an easy touchdown for him. Corey Bosworth still on the ground. I really didn't see what happened after he got around Watkins.
I don't know if it's a hyperextension. It looked like one of those things that often used to happen when you played on AstroTurf. But with field turf, you don't find it quite as often. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Now, this is why the NFL can be such a dangerous and short-lived sport and career for many guys, and why so many teams appreciate the players putting up with what they do. There's an injured Corey Bosworth who will be helped off the field. Let's welcome in our Hall of Famer Charlie Sanders and Steve Courtney. Guys, your assessment not just of tonight but of this preseason and overall thoughts on what the Lions have done so far.
Well, Charlie, we were talking earlier tonight going into this fourth preseason game. Maybe a little bit disappointed by the way the Lions came out. A little bit of a malaise there.
And I'm sure this is happening throughout the league. I mean, this is the last preseason game, and there's a lot of, quote, starters that aren't playing, maybe 1 or 2 series, and it's an opportunity, too, for the coaches to take a look at what they have left. But it's also an opportunity to expose some people, too, just in this particular instance. And it also puts up an argument for that 18-game regular season.
Still 14 minutes, 8 seconds left for someone to make an impact. We've seen a couple of guys maybe step up in the stable tonight, fellas. Back upstairs.
All right, guys, thanks. Levi Brown for the deep drop. A quick slant. Caught. Not the effect that James Hardy had on the play moments ago that was penalized, but it makes the third down play a little bit shorter. Say third down and 7.
James Hardy, one of those big body wide receivers out of the Big Ten, 6'5", 220. That's back in the day, that wasn't a bad sized tight end. Now he's a wide receiver out of Indiana.
Check that, third down and 15 for the Bills. Throwing situation for Levi Brown. Blitz comes. He unloads. And this one is incomplete. Intended for Hardy again. Dante Wesley on the coverage.
So you can see why the Bills are high on this young man, Levi Brown. He's throwing 2 or 3 balls, put exactly where they need to be. And Dante Wesley, he's just playing a soft zone. He has deep quarter. So he's backing up all the way, and he's in pretty good position. That ball was delivered exactly where it needed to be, and James Hardy could not come down with the catch, partially because of the good coverage by Dante Wesley.
Even though he didn't turn his head, you've harped on the preseason so far about Detroit's corners needing to turn their head around and locate the ball. Northcutt drifting over and watching it fall out of bounds. They'll mark it at the 31-yard line of Detroit. And that's where the Lions offense will take over. Drew Stanton back out there. D.D. Dorsey back out there. I would guess there's a lot of guys who love playing in this situation. They want to keep playing. Dorsey didn't get a lot of snaps last week. Got a lot of snaps against Denver. He just wants as much to put on film as possible.
Any player will tell you the worst feeling in the world is when you're trying to make a team and you can't get on the field in the 4th preseason game where somebody else is getting the reps that you want and you see them having success. You want to have the opportunity to make or break your own career. That's get out there and let me make the plays. When you're handcuffed on the sideline, it's a bad feeling.
Dorsey spins away, stops, and now will take his medicine by lunging forward. No gain. Or having the offense not able to get on the football field while the defense constantly is playing.
And I think D.D. Dorsey has done everything in his power to make this club. He's wrapped up by John McCargo, but he can't finish the plaque. McCargo's credit, he comes back in on, but Dorsey just looks like he kind of floats like he's not trying, but people don't get a really good hit on him.
Yeah.
He's very deceptive. He pulls that hip away, and he has good balance and good quickness.
Well, he knows what he's doing, too. Stanton spins away. And will throw downfield for Dorsey and make the catch! He's making a heck of an argument, partner.
I don't know how you cut a guy who's put together a couple games like D.D. Dorsey has between Denver and here. How about Drew Stanton? This is also one of those rules you learn as a receiver. When the quarterback scrambles out of the pocket, he comes to you, you go away. And you see D.D. Dorsey, see the quarterback coming, and he goes away from him. That's just 2 players with a little bit of experience making the right decision. A 4th-year quarterback and a 5th-year running back have been there. And
what concentration,
went back to the,
huh?
Yeah, the fundamental playbook.
Pickup of 34. Stanton scrambles again and throws this one away. Boy, Stanton looks so much more poised this season than he has in the past, don't you think?
Well, right now, in the last few games where we've watched him play, he's much more confident. He understands what's going on. Is another year with Scott Linehan, and things are good. And he told me that we were talking before the game. He was very comfortable coming in, and he's comfortable in his position. He really wants to do well, though, because he realizes if it doesn't work out here, he's a young guy. Matthew Stafford's a young guy. He needs to put together some quality game plan.
A draw to Aaron Brown, feeling his way, bouncing to the outside. And close to the 20-yard line.
And there's some early penetration. Corey Hilliard, number 78, he's going to get beat to the inside. And he gets the arm up. Brown is able to make the first person miss, and then it's just speed. He gets a little bit of a help on a downfield block, and that's why Aaron Brown's in the NFL. He has really good outside speed to the edge. Just able to really outrun the pursuit. See Ubodi trying to come up and make a play along with Reggie Corner, but nice job by Aaron Brown making something out of nothing.
1st and 10 for Detroit. Guys making it difficult. Brown again took a big hit, got to the 16-yard line. You're watching this club for the first time and you're thinking, wow, 21 and 27 has some decent shake. They have good hands. How are they not on this football team?
And we've talked about the depth. A lot of depth in the defensive line, a lot of depth at the tight end position. There's also some pretty good depth at the running back position right now. I think the acquisition of Javon Best in the draft helped. And then you bring in a couple other guys that you had last year, give them some more minutes, and you see that they're pretty good too. So whoever gets cut may have a chance to catch on something.
Stand on a quick slant to Williams, touchdown!
You talked about Drew Stanton looking more comfortable, more poised in the pocket, and you're going to see this right here. Good protection. Nice job by the offensive line, setting the pocket. He's able to step up in. Derek Williams catches the ball in his hands on the slant. That's well executed. That's tough to defend. The safety doesn't get over the top in time to help the corner, and that's Drew Stanton's 2nd touchdown of the game.
Jason Hansen to punctuate the drive. And Detroit has their first lead of the night. 21-16. Lions in front. Lions have scored the last 21 points of the ball game. They have their first lead, 21-16 over Buffalo here at Ford Field. Steve Courtney earlier tonight caught up with Dominic Raiola, the center for the Lions. Steve?
Donald, being around you through training camp, 3 games of the preseason, almost 4 now in the books. Has this been the most excited you've been about this Lions offense in the 10 years you've been here?
Yeah, it's definitely exciting, but we know we have a lot of work to do. But, you know, the work we put in is definitely paying off.
You bring in Rob Sims up front, but on top of that, your offensive line coach, George Arnold, been with you in consecutive seasons, and that certainly helps.
It helps, you know, having Coach Arnold there, putting Rob there, best thing for me in 10 years. But also being second year in Scott's offense, you know, makes life a lot easier.
The offense looks like it's going to score points, and as we approach the regular season, that's a nice thing to have in your back pocket.
You know, we have a lot of weapons, and we know we have to, you know, we have to score points, and that's our job. And, you know, this organization's equipped us with, you know, a lot of weapons, so we know we have to. That's, you know, that's what we got to do.
Last question, Donald. Did Nebraska get a fair shake in that Big Ten division stuff?
I think so. I think so.
All right, Damo, all the best to you. See you soon.
Thank you.
All right, Dominic Raiola loving the Cornhuskers in the Big Ten. Fellas upstairs.
Steve, I thought you were going to ask him about golf, being that you guys are just huge golf fans. Raiola loves playing golf. Best round 82. He says his ideal foursome is him, Olin Kreutz, former Chicago Bear, Tiger Woods, and Jack Nicklaus. I'll bet you Dominic Raiola would say, I got a shot. Levi Brown on a curl route to Chad Jackson. It's a pickup of 12 and a first down. Well, an injured Buffalo Bill. Guys vying for a position. Rob, we talked about it a week ago. Special teams equal versatility. Versatility means that you get a longer lift.
Yeah, we're going to look at number 27, D.D. Dorsey, coming down. We saw how valuable what he was in the last drive offensively, running and catching the ball out of the backfield. And look at this right here. Able to get down and make the tackle on the special team, and that's value.
That's
you have that type of value, you're not wasting a roster. So I shouldn't waste a roster spot, but not utilizing or maximizing is like Kevin Smith doesn't have that ability to be on the special teams. D.D. Dorsey does, and that's something coaches
or Aaron Brown does.
Yeah, Aaron Brown does. So all these factors, when things are close, when all things being equal, they all come into play. And D.D. Dorsey, once again, doing everything to help his case.
I don't know if this matters much, but D.D. Dorsey, he runs well, he catches passes well, he blocks well, he tackles on special teams, and if need be, he could return on kickoffs. That's, in baseball, a five-tool player. In football, I don't know what they call it other than versatility.
Somebody getting paid.
Good. Yeah, right. Brown with a handoff. Chad Simpson goes absolutely nowhere. Isaiah Ekajuba in on the tackle. Signed as a free agent prior to this preseason. He dropped Chad Simpson for a loss of 2, bringing up second down and 12. Levi Brown will throw on a 5-step drop. Pressure comes, and he is pounded. Andre Fluellen, the first one to get to Levi Brown.
Well, Andre Fluellen has played some defensive tackle. He's getting an opportunity to maybe line up on the outside of some defensive end. Number 96, he's going to come right at the top of your screen, just bull rushes, constricting the pocket. What a nice job. And also, inside, he's getting some help from Jerron Baston, number 96, and there's really nowhere to go. And Willie Young coming from the other edge, and that's how you want your rush. All of them meeting at the quarterback, creating no vertical or horizontal openings for the quarterback to escape the pocket.
Third down and 19 now. After back-to-back losses on the play, Brown on a slant route, nothing doing. That young man has to work on some of his short throw accuracy.
Well, he's somewhat of a project.
Yes, he is.
And Buffalo realizes that, but they like what he brings as far as his physical attributes, his throwing arm, his accuracy, especially Steve Tasker we had a chance to talk to prior to the game. Great Buffalo Bills. Talked a lot about special teams. One of the great special team players of all time.
Yeah.
So they like Levi Brown, and he's safe, so he's going to get a chance to develop.
Mormon to punt it away. Derek Williams signaling a fair catch at the 20-yard line. Detroit has scored 21 unanswered. They'll be looking for more when we come back after this.
Make no mistakes about it, Ford Field, the place to be. 8 minutes, 55 seconds left in the fourth quarter of the fourth preseason game. Lions now with a 21-16 lead. Charlie, you make a nice observation with cut day coming on Saturday. The phone lines between general managers starting to buzz a little bit with bubble players.
Yes, it will. With guys having good games, Cohen, you look at the tight end play that we have here tonight. They know who's on the bubble. They'll start making calls. So it will be better for them to trade for a guy, fifth, sixth, or try to wait and go into the draft next year. So this may be the opportunity to make a trade.
The plot thickens, boys. Back upstairs.
Well, unfortunately for Dede Dorsey, he just allowed this game plot to thicken a little bit because he just coughed it up.
It's amazing all the positive things you can do during the course of a game over 2 to 3 quarters can be erased very quickly in the mind of a coach when you put the ball on the carpet in the fourth quarter.
Especially deep in your own end.
Just trying to make something happen. He's trying to bounce it to the outside, and then he sees the seam, he cuts it up, and the ball comes loose. And a little bit better view here. Oh, that's Reggie Corner. He's able to get his hand in there and knock it out. He had a feel for that young man. He's done everything in his power to make the club, and you build up a game resume even, as you said earlier, and then he puts the ball on the turf.
Levi Brown connects with J.P. Fasci. Reggie Corner, who forced the fumble out of Troy. Levi Brown also out of Troy. And I don't mean Troy, Michigan. They have 3 players who played at that university. Leotis McKelvin, Reggie Corner, and Levi Brown. Second down and 3. Brown throws, and it's caught for a first down. James Hardy hauled in that rocket. And now it'll be first and goal from the 6.
Well, you're going to stop it right here. You're going to see Lions are going to bring pressure right up the middle. Gunther Cunningham trying to make something happen, but Levi Brown's able to get it off. And tight end, he's got to do a little bit better job that time. Fasci's got to clear that area and allow that slant to come in behind, but Levi Brown made a nice throw. Give him a first and goal.
Brown on a quarterback draw. And he ducks inside the 5 to about the 4. Buffalo they lost their preseason opener at Washington. Then they came back. They beat Indianapolis and then Cincinnati. Before tangling with the Lions, as we mentioned, finishing up with Detroit for the 9th consecutive season. Second down and goal for Levi Brown and the Bills. He'll throw for the corner, Hardy, and it's incomplete.
Paul Pratt competing hard in the corner that time. Physically outmatched. Number 36, Paul Pratt, only stands, Paul's about 5'10" maybe, and Hardy stands at 6'5", and the ball is thrown up. But Pratt doing a nice job chicken fighting with his hands, keeping active,
Timeout.
just disrupting the timing of the play.
Chan Gailey calls a timeout. His club is down 21-16 on the road with 6:44 left. Welcome back. The drive of the game brought to you by the Michigan Office of Highway Safety, all Dede Dorsey.
Oh yeah, he starts out with a nice run to get things going about 12 yards, and he's going to get the ball again. A little more to the left, takes it up the middle of the field, but he shows his versatility coming back here on the touchdown play, coming out of the backfield as a receiver. I really think, Matt, this is his strength, and this is his maybe his linchpin to stay in the NFL. This is what he needs to do to show his receiving skills.
Save Detroit a 5-point lead. That's where it stands now. Levi Brown with a throw. Intercepted! Paul Pratt down the sideline. Touchdown! Paul Pratt! No flags!
You gotta love Louis Delmas out there to greet his comrade in arms. Pratt's gonna be playing on the corner at the bottom of his heat. There's no one even in his area, and I'm not sure if someone ran the wrong route, but he will sing Levi Brown a thank you note for this one. He's just sitting there all by himself, but nice job stretching out and, you know, having the wherewithal to get up in the end zone and take it down the sideline. He has a convoy leading him. When the only one who had a chance was Christian Gaddis, the center, you knew you had a pretty good shot to score.
There's a blue wall helping him find his way 102 yards to pay dirt. What a thrill that must be.
Working out that Lifetime Fitness helps on that one, huh? He's in pretty good shape to take it 102.
The former fitness instructor, now very fit after a 102-yard sprint and giving Detroit a 28-16 lead.
Just another look at Paul Pratt's score. Where's my buddies at? Hefney, Campbell, Churchy falling back in the last leg, and a lot of the teammates running down the sideline. He thought about taking off the chin strap and the helmet. I think he realized that's going to be a 15-yard penalty. So nice physical play, making the catch, and then mentally pretty smart. Don't do something silly in the end to jeopardize what was a really nice play.
Was he glancing at himself?
On the big screen?
On the big screen, I believe he was.
Well, some guys like to do that to see if anyone's catching him from behind, but like I said, Gaddis, number 61, he wasn't going to get him. And
hey, listen, there wasn't a Buffalo Bill within 10 yards of him, was there? I mean, there's nobody. There he is right here. Watch his eyes go up, right? There, right there. Is that me? It is. By golly.
Oh, that's outstanding. Yeah, he's on again.
Wow, that is something else. Each team has an interception return for a touchdown now. Donald Jones. Bumped down at the 27 or so.
Jim Schwartz has got to be happy with his second and third, mostly third unit here in the second half. Has definitely tilted the table in the Lions' favor. They've outplayed the Buffalo's reserves. But it's something that some of these, you know, it's kind of good news, bad news. Good news is, yeah, they've come on and played well here in the fourth quarter. The bad news is some of these guys will not be here when the season starts on both sides of the ball right now. So it's hard to really get a fair evaluation.
Levi Brown to throw. Hardy with a grab at 32 and out of bounds around the 35. How much does that factor in that they're playing against? No offense, it's not like they're playing against starters though. So Dede Dorsey has chalked up a lot of yardage, but not against first teamers on Buffalo. How much does that weigh into Jim Schwartz?
Well, Jim Schwartz, he realizes the depth chart of Buffalo as well. He knows where these guys fall in the food chain, so to speak. So he will try to evaluate apples and oranges whenever he can. Like you said, sometimes you can, but is Dede Dorsey a starting running back in the NFL? I would say not. Is he a guy that can be a third down back? Absolutely. So you will evaluate, but we're going to evaluate that one. And what happens there is you get that left hand. I think it's Dante Wesley. We're going to look at this, I hope, and he's going to get his left hand draped across the back.
Pass interference, defense, number 41, automatic. First
a nice
down.
play with the right hand, but where was his left?
Well, you're going to see his left hand come right on the back before he comes around. He puts a little bit of a hook on him. And Hardy can't make the catch. Anytime you get that hooked around the front, it's just such an easy call for the officials because there's more than one can actually see it. The official on each side is going to see that, and one of them is going to throw the flag.
First down for the Bills at the 41-yard line. Andre Anderson. Two Lions are down. Dante Wesley, and I think it's John Wendling. No, it's Vinny Churchu, a linebacker out of Boston College. 5:27 remaining. Just a reminder, get in the roar zone for the Lions home opener on September 19th against Andy Reid's Philadelphia Eagles. Tickets start at $42. Call 1-800-745-3000 or visit DetroitLions.com. Get Lions ready. Detroit gets the NFC East and the AFC East this year. We showed you the schedule earlier. New England Patriots will be at Ford Field for Thanksgiving Day.
We got a little time here. We look at Landon Cohn, who's really had a strong game from the defensive tackle position. Big number 98's been in on the running game and the passing game, getting a few sacks here today. Gets another one here on Brown. Good pressure, good quickness. He really gets off the ball while he's able to split the double team, and even in the solo block, he gets the one side, gets the shoulder pad, gets the edge on the blocker, and gets penetration. So nice job by Landon Cohn. I think he's really secured himself a spot on this 53-man roster. If there was any doubt coming into the game.
Yeah, and you know, he's so strong. You talked about his strength earlier. He benches 225 pounds 50 times. That's a lot of reps. Anderson up the gut and into Lions territory. Should move the chains yet again for Buffalo. Approach the 5-minute mark. Everybody ready for the regular season, including the mascot Rory.
Looks like he put on a few pounds in the summer. I'm not pleased.
Did he put a freshman 15 on, partner?
Yeah, he might have. Weather was nice. The beach was calling. Rory was there.
Pressure comes, flag on the play. They set up a screen to Anderson. Pratt tries to strip the ball away from him. Not satisfied with a 102-yard interception return for a touchdown. He wants a forced fumble as well. A pickup of 8, but will it stand?
You know, we talked early on, Andre Fluellen really trying to guess the snap count.
Outside, defense, number 96. That penalty has been declined. Second down.
He guessed a little too quickly that time. As you can see him getting out of the starting gate. That's how I do when I race my 8-year-old. I give him a little head start. Or actually, now he gives me a head start.
Yeah, I was just going to say, don't flatter yourself.
Yeah, just a little. He was close. He guessed the right snap count. He just anticipated and left just a hair early. Last time he got away with it, that time he got caught.
Brings up a 2nd down and 2 for Buffalo. Anderson to the outside. And spun around by Willie Young. But not before he picked up a 1st down. Penalties a concern. I don't care if it's the preseason. I don't care if it's a scrimmage. No coach likes to shoot themselves in the foot. Tonight, the 2nd most penalties Detroit's had on the preseason so far.
In the Cleveland, I believe in the Cleveland game, all the penalties
were in the 2nd quarter.
In 1 quarter.
That's
in
correct.
The game. They were
in the 2nd quarter, all 6. Yep.
Penalty list for the other 3 quarters. So that's something positive with a little bit of a negative. You eliminate that 1 quarter, you'd be laughing.
Anderson dragged down by Andre Fluellen. You were just talking about the kid from Florida State, and he dropped him for a loss of 3.
Well, you said earlier about Landon Cohn is really having his way in this game. But you're going to see Andre Fluellen. What happens is when you put a guy, he's right at the bottom of the screen. That's a really bad matchup against a tight end.
You think so?
Yeah, he just blew up Andrew George that time. This is a guy that started a few games and played a lot last year for the Lions. And now he's playing against some guys that are like 3rd and 4th stringers, and that's just something that he's going to win each and every time.
There's a mild concern as they look at Willie Young, the 7th-round pick out of NC State, who, partner, has done a pretty good job in the preseason so far. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, he's had 8 tackles and a couple of sacks coming into the game tonight.
Yeah, he's a guy that's a game player. You don't like that as a coach. You want guys to stand out in practice as well. But some guys just don't. They kind of go through the motions in practice. Well, you put them on the field in a game situation, they excel. Willie Young has done that the entire preseason. He's been a playmaker.
Well, we talked about the first half of the season for Detroit. After the bye week, they're going to be at Buffalo and then Dallas. And then we mentioned the Patriots on Thanksgiving Day. And then Chicago comes calling, followed by Green Bay, at Tampa and Miami. Miami believes they've got a shot in the AFC. And then January 2nd could be the final regular season game of Brett Favre's career. Who knows? Levi Brown hands to Anderson. He's got some space. And then he's dropped down at the 31-yard line. Isaiah Ekajuba closed quickly. A pickup of 9. 3:20 remaining. Haven't seen a whole lot of Joique Bell, the rookie out of Wayne State. Is that because you think he's already made this club and they want to see more of Anderson and Chad Simpson?
Yeah, you look at the backs that they have. There's 3 that are cemented, but according to Steve Tasker prior to the game, that they really like Bell, that he's had a good camp, and that maybe he has solidified his spot. I think at worst case scenario, the practice squad, the problem is he's had such a good camp that he may not clear waivers. Somebody may claim him off a team that is shallow in the running back position.
There's Anderson spinning his way close to the 20-yard line. There's their prize rookie out of Clemson, first rounder, 9th overall. C.J. Spiller led the ACC in all-purpose yards, 7,588, second most in NCAA history. And he, with Reggie Bush, the only two with 3,000 yards rushing, 1,500 yards kickoff return, 1,000 yards receiving, and 500 or more punt returns in a career. Those are gaudy numbers, aren't they? Last play, we think, prior to the 2-minute warning. And my apologies, because I just jinxed it.
False start. Offense, number 73. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Kirk Chambers has had a rough night, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been beaten to the edge a few times. He gets some penalty there. He had a hold, I believe, early on. It's something he'd probably like to forget. And there's Chan Gailey. I think right now he's thinking back to early in this game how his team looked, and maybe some guys here that have stood out to himself and the staff tonight that are going to make their roster as well.
Good to see Willie Young back out there. The 3-point stance for Detroit. Brown connects, and Roosevelt pushed out of bounds. We're at the 2-minute warning. The Bills, who led by 16 at one point, now trail by 12. Well, the Bills started on a high note. They're trying to end on a high note. Detroit has done their damage, most of it anyway, in the third quarter.
Second down and 8 for the Bills.
Buffalo staring at a 2nd down and 8 with the ball resting at the Detroit 19-yard line. Levi Brown, the 3rd-string quarterback, the rookie out of Troy, on a quick slant, caught by Roosevelt, and he lunges close to the 5-yard line. Let's take a look at our game summary. It's brought to you by Ford. Landon Cohen has had himself a day defensively. Dede Dorsey has done the same offensively.
I think two guys that were possibly bubble players. Two guys that are possibly bubble players, I think, solidified their positions here tonight. The penalties, obviously, you're going to work on, and the Samurai comes by Saturday at 4 o'clock. You got to hide.
They'll find you, though. That Samurai, by the way, is Hall of Famer Charlie Sanders on our sideline. That Simpson sniffing the goal line, just shy. He's the one who has got that unenviable task of telling the player it's time you move on.
But what a great guy to do it, because we know Charlie well. What a very amicable person, nice, respected. He's a guy that is going to take it serious. And I had an opportunity one time. One of the guys he sat down back when I was playing kind of did it as a joke, and a few of us got pretty irritated. They come walking up to you, and you thought you had to go talk to coaches. Don't worry, you made it.
Number 79 is an elder receiver.
Does your stomach just drop?
Oh yeah, your stomach. You're happy because you made it, but then you're also a little bit upset. So Charlie would do it with class and decorum, as he always does everything.
On the ground to the outside, and I don't think so. Simpson wanted the goal line but couldn't get there. That'll bring up a 3rd down. The executive producers of this Detroit Lions telecast are Trey Fabacher and Brady Klima. Our coordinating producer is Brian Bender. Brian Moss was our director on this Thursday night. Our associate producer is Paul Pitlawani. Our technical supervisor is Mike Kubik. And our creative services director is Pam Bodman. Thanks to all of them, and our thanks to all you folks who've watched us all preseason long. On behalf of Charlie Sanders, Steve Courtney, my partner Rob Rubik, our entire crew, thank you, and I know you look forward to the regular season and a much improved Lions club. That doesn't mean, I mean, I don't know how many wins they're going to get. I really don't. But I think they're going to be a lot more competitive this season. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. They're going to be entertaining because they're going to be able to move the ball, move the chains, put points on the board with the offense. And the defensive front
is eligible. 79 is an eligible receiver.
Is going to get after the quarterback and get some sacks and get some negative plays. I think people like to see. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the start of the regular season.
3rd and 1. Flag on the play. Simpson scores. This could be offsides against Landon Cohen and the Lions.
Offside. Defense, number 98, line up in the neutral zone. That penalty is declined. Touchdown.
On the bottom of the screen, 98, Landon Cohen. Just lined up in the neutral zone. Just this penalty is going to be declined. And we talked about the Lions penalties too, Matt. And not all of them accepted tonight. There's probably had 3 or 4 that have been declined. So, you know, they're upwards of 10 or 11 penalties, and that's something that's going to have to be addressed and taken care of before they head to Chicago. A week from Saturday, they'll head play on Sunday.
Extra point is good, and it's now 28-23 Lions. That's the first offensive touchdown for the Bills tonight. Remember, the other touchdown was an interception return for a score by Drayton Florence, and then a few field goals by Ryan Lindell. So Chan Gailey trying to stay as positive as possible. His club will finish 2-2 in the preseason, and Detroit will close 3-1.
Right. Now you may see an onside kick here, and it's not Chan Gailey trying to win this game.
No,
it's Chan Gailey trying to have an
work on situation.
Look at a situation of an onside kick more for his kicker, because the 10 guys that are covering, maybe half of those may be on the team when the season starts, but it's still an opportunity for your kicker to do it. Now he may choose not to. He may just kick it deep and pack the bags and shuffle off to Buffalo. But I would take an opportunity and do an onside kick. Give your kicker a chance to try to pop one in the air.
Because let's face it, special teams doesn't get all that much time on a day-to-day basis in practice, does it?
And not at this speed, at full speed with full contact.
Well, just in case, Detroit has placed some hands up front. Spivey and Co Simpson and Mike Moore, they're all up there. It's a squib kick. Fielded by Dylan Gandy. Just take a knee, big fella, and he does. Oh, yeah. Do you think maybe, just maybe, he was thinking to himself, wow, Paul Pratt did it. Maybe I can do it.
I could take it to the house, yeah. He said I could have been a rock star. Said he just took a knee, and that's the smart thing to do. You don't want to turn the ball over that situation. So Lions will, speaking of taking a knee, Drew Stanton will take a knee, and Lions will chalk this one up in the preseason W column.
Drew Stanton has had himself a very productive preseason. He takes the knee, and Detroit closes 3-1. They beat the Bills in preseason game number 4. After Buffalo had held serve last year, Detroit takes care of business here at Ford Field on this Thursday night. 28-23, the finale. We'll wrap it up from Ford Field when we return after this.